Think about the pressure that these drivers are facing. Just in front of them, the opportunity for a title.
No better track to determine the championship for. Racing was built on short tracks, built on this short track. I love the fact that this is it. The whole season for these 8 drivers, or 7 that are still vying for those spots, comes down to today.
Sammy Smith won the pole. He's on the inside. Justin Allgaier will start on the outside of row 1 as we get ready for the elimination race at Martinsville. Two by two, and you see the 7 of Allgaier. He shoots out in front of the 00 of Cole Custer. He takes that second spot.
Yeah, preferred lane early will be right around the curb as the 00 either gave the 7 a shot or he just got up the racetrack. Now the 00, that white car inside the 7 of Allgaier.
Yeah, it looked like Allgaier got loose in the middle of the corner. This outside lane will work for a few laps, guys. On cold tires, you can make this outside lane work, but there'll be a battle to get to the bottom soon.
That's what we just saw out of that bright yellow 9 of Brandon Jones. Jeff, right? That big swerve was purely just trying to take the bottom lane away before they got to the corner.
We have a 2-car, Sheldon Creed, trying to force his way down into the bottom with his teammate, Austin Hill.
Austin Hill slides coming off the turn. That allows the 2 to have that line. So Austin Hill also right along the curb, but Allgaier looks as though he's going to clear Cole Custer. He passes him on the outside. Allgaier holding on to second, a little bumping and banging still through the turns as Riley Herbst in the 98 still stuck on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek in the 20 on the move.
You see Riley Herbst, he went to the bottom, but then everybody behind him did the same thing. Nobody trying to jump on the outside.
Cole Custer shutting the door on the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek very early in this race. And the first stage will end at lap 60, and that's when points get paid, Steve.
Points get paid, and history would say.
Oh, around goes to 38. So the caution is out for Joe Graff Jr.
Now he needs to get righted with that left rear tire flat because the leader's going to come right away. He's going to try not to lose a lap. You know, Sammy Smith is trying to give him the, the ability, but eventually Sammy has to pull up to the pace car, and for that, the 38 will go a lap down.
So the first caution comes out, and it's for a left rear tire that goes down, and around goes Joe Graff Jr. bringing out this first caution. That means another restart here at Martinsville. We'll see it on the other side. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Dead On Tools, made to live out loud. Toyota, Let's go places. And by Progressive Insurance. For a job you'll love, visit progressive.com/careers. Sammy Smith started on pole, has led the 8 laps that have been run. On lap 6, the caution came out for Joe Graff Jr. And so now the drivers will decide inside outside as far as what starting position they want. Joe Graff Jr. came to pit road, changed the left rear tire.
And Rick, I think that's a difficult decision. We know we saw him racing to the bottom after a few laps, but can you make the outside work, Dave?
So Justin Allgaier is going to try to make anything work from the front here, and that's a very, very good thing. Jim Pullman, the crew chief, told me that they were surprised how well they qualified second because they did not have good fire-off speed. You saw it there. He was able to get around Custer once, hold him off twice, and maintain where he is. He'll start on the outside here.
Look at also starting on the outside. So many cars went to the bottom. That allowed Sheldon Creed. He's going to roll all the way up. He was running in 8th. He's going to start in 6th place. And I like that, Steve. Like, you almost have to win this race. Take every opportunity you can to get position.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen in turn 1. If I can move up some positions, I'm going to fight my way to the bottom. I like that choice. It's not a race you're going to leave with a lot of friends. You're going to have to upset some people.
And that has almost become the norm here at Martinsville. As we get ready for the restart, Sammy Smith in the 18 on the inside, Allgaier on the outside in the 7th.
Ready, green, all good.
Allgaier, another great restart. He slides in right behind the 18 and clears the 0-0 of Cole Custer. Now John Hunter Nemechek's going to try to keep that 98 of Riley Herbst pinned to the outside.
You see Sheldon Creed get to the bottom. He's going to try to keep Riley Herbst on the outside, as you mentioned, Rick. So far, he's able to do it. He's going to drive up to the door of that black number 98. Chandler Smith right behind him will try to follow through as Austin Hill's kind of stuck on the outside as well.
This is where it's very difficult on the bottom. It's hard to get the rear tires to hook up for Sheldon Creed. Riley Herbst knows that, tries to pinch him off a little bit.
Yeah, on the inside, trying to get down in the corner, you can really get out of shape, get up into the car on the outside line. You don't want to do that, so you're limited on entry on how aggressive you can be. You can see the 2 sliding the left front tire and getting into the 98.
But good exit speed. And every lap that goes by, the bottom becomes more of an advantage. So Sheldon Creed needs to take advantage of it. Do not, right there. Yep, he was able to protect it. I thought he was going to lose it with Herbst, but he was able to protect it.
That's the fight for 5th right now. They stay door to door. The fight for that 3rd spot also was door to door until we just saw John Hunter Nemechek slide in front of Cole Custer. So there Riley Herbst was able to make that outside line work, and he clears the 2. Now it looks like the 2 might be holding up the field here.
Well, he's just trying to settle in. He's been bottled up on that inside line for so long. He's really not had a chance to get his bearings here and find a groove. So he's going to do that now as his cars behind him run side by side. And again, you see the driver on the inside, the 16, having a hard time really making that pass work. And the 21 car on the outside, Austin Hill, and the 19 is going to be able to make a pass and gain a position. 16's trying to stop this from happening.
Watch that curb on entry. You're going to hold you tight. Be smart.
Mike Snyder's fighting on that outside line in the 19 and pinching off the 16 to the point where the 16 had to check up, and now Mike Snyder's going to make the pass.
Well, the 16's charging the corner trying to be able to hold this position, and he's getting up the racetrack a little bit. I think Myatt's giving him enough room right there, but again, contact as the 16's struggling on the bottom of the racetrack.
Myatt dives down into 1 and takes that spot away.
Xfinity car doesn't have a lot of gear, doesn't turn a lot of RPMs, can't really get off the corner, doesn't have a ton of power, so trying to get underneath the car and completing that pass will be one of the hardest things you do all day long. And so that guy on the outside is emboldened to run hard. They think, hey, I'm probably going to get this back if I just stay out here and annoy you long enough. As long as you don't get turned around on the outside or used up, you're going to fight.
Well, that little battle has ended with Myatt Schneider in front of Chandler Smith. Here's the gap between 1 and 2. Sammy Smith in the 18, Justin Allgaier in the 7, separated by about 3-4 car lengths now.
Yeah, so now you're just evaluating your car for these guys. We saw that incredible battle on the start of the race and on the restart. Now it's, okay, what do I have? What does my car need to do better? Every driver that we interviewed yesterday talked about, Steve, how the track was going to change between yesterday and today, and now they're trying to understand what that means.
And remember, we had cup practice this morning, so when we were down there, Jeff, you and I, for the pre-race show, the groove was already very, very dark with Goodyear rubber, but that's the rubber from the cup tire. It could interact a little different than what these Xfinity guys are used to, Kim.
And Sammy Smith really happy with that race car. He said the balance is so good. He said it fired off good. The first couple of laps, though, the track's a little bit slimy. They told him really good exit. That's where you're killing them.
Such a rhythm racetrack.
Yeah, the driver out front is putting together good corners, putting together good rhythm. The driver running second is trying to chase him down, right, and pushing harder and harder each corner until finally you slip. You either slide the fronts, you miss the corner, and then you back up, regroup, and do the whole cycle over again. Rarely do drivers just continue to do the same thing every lap. They're encouraged to try to do things every corner, different things, to try to find a faster way around. And that driver running second ends up sometimes in Martinsville pushing the car too hard, ends up heating up front brakes. The balance of the car could change over the entirety of a run, whereas the driver out front can really set a nice clean pace, not really abusing the car.
Right now, Sammy Smith has been perfect. 24 laps complete, and Sammy Smith has been out front all 24. Allgaier giving chase. Nemechek, Custer, and Herbst in the top 5. Martinsville Speedway. Sammy Smith has been out front all 32 laps, and the pace that he has set, he's starting to reel in some of the cars at the back of the field. And we'll be putting them a lap down, but it's been a rough ride for a few. How about Jeremy Clements off the wall, then bounces back, gets a little contact on the inside. Sideways there, some more contact.
Brandon Jones just trying to ask a little bit too much of the right rear tire there, throttling up, breaking lateral grip.
These two have been going at it. Junior Motorsport teammates. Sammy Smith, he has caught lap traffic, trying to work himself through it.
Just put Devin Jones a lap down, a little bit of damage on the right front. Here is why.
Oh, he bounced into the curb a little bit right there. Looked like he might have watched the steering wheel too. See if that
actually locked the left front tire up and hit the curb.
Yeah.
If you're Devin Jones, you don't have a lot of experience. You're racing the leader. He's bouncing off of you. You're like, hey man, like look what am I doing?
But also it speaks to the 18 car really hasn't had to be on the inside of anybody too much on entry, right? So that's something that he's now experienced, and we see the damage, but also it's move that splitter up a little bit on that right front. Bent that splitter up somewhat. Letarte, as a crew chief, you concerned about that?
I'm really not. If I could come in and cut that right front fender off, I would. I watched you run around here with no fender one time, kept that tire cool, and it was magic. I'd be a little concerned maybe if it was the left side, but the right side doesn't bother me as much. I think about every car might look like that by lap 100.
Yeah, we know that there are drivers in this race today that aren't competing for a championship, but they want to win. And Myatt Snyder being one of them. Myatt has gotten himself up to 6th. And in doing that, he passed Austin Hill a few laps ago, right? He just passed Sheldon Creed, and look at the pressure coming to Austin Hill. Austin Hill running in 8th place. The guys he's racing for in points, Algar in 2nd, Custer in 4th. The 16 car, Chandler Smith, trying to get by Austin Hill. That is a point. I know 1 point doesn't sound like a lot, but for right now, Austin Hill, that could be the difference in a chance for him to championship, Marty, and not.
And those points to be paid in 21 laps, Jeff. So let me ask you a question behind the wheel. Austin Hill said, I just can't get back to the gas. And when I do, it, quote, buzzes the tires. Just no rear grip off the corner. What is that handicap here at Martinsville when you can't get back to the gas as soon as you'd like, Jeff?
Well, the problem with it is that you have to be in the gas soon. Your car has to be turning while you're in the gas. If not, it will spin the tires. So how does you see this battle, Sammy Smith trying to get through lap traffic, but what does the team do to fix it? And the problem can be sometimes the fix is worse than what you've got. We got a caution on the racetrack. 29 car up against the wall.
Kyle Sieg, and see a little bit of smoke rolling out from the right side of that car.
I ain't 100% sure, Rick, but I believe he's made contact with the wall, or he's got a right front down.
He was running 30th. We see some damage to the right front.
Yeah, looks like he might have gotten up into the wall, had a failure on entry, or I'm not quite sure exactly what happened. There it is.
Yeah, real heavy damage right here. It's an uncomfortable moment for the playoff cars. I don't believe anyone who needs points is going to come to pit road. But this is kind of opportunity for somebody like Sam Mayer, who's stuck all the way back in 19th with a win in the bank. He knows he's part of the championship for next week. He could pit now and stay out at the stage end. Let's see what happens to the 29 here.
Broke something on the right front.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that we have happen here sometimes, Steve, and I'm not sure exactly what that was, but it looks a lot like a bead issue. Watch this one car, Sam Mayer.
Oh, no.
Smokes.
The good thing for Sam Mayer is he's already got a spot in the championship 4.
Yeah.
They slowed down faster in front of him under that caution than he was anticipating, catching the back of the field or something. That was very odd looking.
Yeah, you just always got to be watching out in front of you, you know. And there's wrecks down here in turn 1. There's trucks or safety trucks trying to enter the racetrack or approach the wreck, and you always kind of got to be on your toes at a small short track like this. But I was going back to the C car that, you know, we talk about brake cooling and cooling the beads on these tires. You often wonder sometimes that looked an awful lot like a brake bead failure because of cooling on the right front.
As we ride along looking up toward the pace car with the Toyota onboard of Sammy Smith. It's been a pretty clean look for Sammy Smith. He's only caught a couple cars at the back of the pack to put them a lap down.
Yeah, pit road was closed that time around. So as I was saying, you know, Sammy Smith, Allgaier, even Nemechek, Custer, I think they're going to stay out for points. But what about Sheldon Creed or Chandler Smith back in 9th? I mean, I know 9th isn't awful, but it's not the perfect track position. You could pit now. We're going to have probably 10 laps to go. You can run 10 laps and then stay out and get track position at the end of the stage. We'll see if anybody elects to do that.
I would say Sammy Smith might be in that category too.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, and he proves you're right. Sammy Smith comes to pit road now knowing that this is going to be a cycle, and much like him, a bunch of cars chase him to pit road, Kim.
That's right, Sammy Smith, overall happy with the car. He said really good exit, just struggling a little bit with rear lateral, so they will make a slight air pressure adjustment on that machine of Sammy Smith, Dave.
Myatt Snyder, a great run for him so far, gives up the 6th position to come to pit road now for 4 Goodyear tires. Driver said it has good drive off through the whole run. Marty?
Dave, what you're seeing here, teams that are not worried about stage points, the win is all that matters for Sheldon Creed. That's the only way he's going to get to Phoenix with a shot to win the championship. So the car was just too free and fell off too much towards the end of the run. They had pretty good short run speed. You see that big wedge adjustment trying to get that car better for Creed.
Pit stops continue, and it will be a sprint to the green and white checker to finish stage 1. You have to limit your mistakes. Sam Mayer not paying attention there. Gets into the back of another car. Tonight, the 3rd-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes will look to remain undefeated when they face the Wisconsin Badgers at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. It's Big Ten football on NBC and Peacock. Here comes Saturday night. Pretty close call on pit road. It's a small one here, Steve.
Well, it's very, very tight. You see Creed pull out the tire carrier. Yeah, that's pretty standard here. Probably didn't scare Creed as much as it bothered the tire carrier. Then the 11 right here, he kind of gets confused, goes to pull in the same pit stall, pulls back out, turns back in. What that basically turns into is entering through too many pit boxes, so Lane Riggs will have to start at the tail of the field.
Yeah, Lane doesn't run this series that often. He, just got confused. Where's my pit box? Where am I going? He's not accustomed to doing a lot of pit stops. It was a bad break for him because he was going to get track position at the end of this stage, but with that penalty, he won't be able to take advantage of it.
Here's a look from the Xfinity mobile on board of Cole Custer. He'll start in the 2nd row, just behind Allgaier. So Allgaier, after staying out, inherits the lead. John Hunter Nemechek on the outside, and with just 11 laps to go in stage 1, we're back underway.
Nemechek's going to be able to slot right there behind the 7, ahead of Cole Custer in 2nd place.
The benefactor of that strategy from all those drivers is that 21 of Austin Hill.
Contact right there with Nemechek and the Cole Custer car. Now they're side by side. And you're right, Austin Hill is right there. A great opportunity to get some stage points here.
Sammy Smith made it 3 wide. Those fresher tires working for him. He goes to the inside now of the 44 of Raja Karuth.
Gotta stay on his door on entry so you don't lock up the left front on the flat. When you're driving straight, you lock up the left front.
Cole Custer's got around the 20 for second. So we're watching this battle back here in the backside of the top 10.
Sammy Smith's already back up to 8th. So after coming to pit road, getting fresh tires, Sammy Smith's going to continue to battle, see if he can get up a little bit higher here in the top 10. A little bit of smoke coming from the 9. Looks like they've got some left front damage.
That's pretty significant. Looks like the door has had some contact right behind the tire. And so as it goes down in the corner, turns left, really rubbing right on that backside. Somebody's drove down into the corner and got into the left front right behind the tire. That's probably grabbing the steering wheel a little bit, probably affecting the ability to turn the wheel down in the corner. Shouldn't bother the car handling wise as long as the tire will hold air.
The fight for second continues. Cole Custer has the position, but John Hunter Nemechek putting a ton of pressure on him. Looking back from the Xfinity Mobile onboard, just how close will John Hunter Nemechek get as we will be coming up on 5 laps to go?
I think what John Hunter Nemechek is trying to do is just score some points. I know he wants to pass Cole Custer, but right now, if you're Ben Bayshore, you need to remind him of the goal as we see Sammy Smith, another 3-wide move into turn 1. For the 20, this is a great first stage. Came in at plus 44, looking to just score some points and be guaranteed to be in that championship 4.
Sammy Smith trying to get around Anthony Alfredo right here. He's going to be able to get to quarter panel, to the inside quarter panel now, almost drawing even through the middle of the corner.
And that'll be top 5 for Sammy Smith after they changed the tires under that most recent pit stop.
Yeah, but that's not what's important. What's important is he's going to start in the front of this field when they drop the green flag. If I'm his crew chief or his spotter, I'm like, dude, all we have to do is be in front of the 98 who is on the same strategy. I don't need you running this fast. Save your tires a little bit.
Sammy Smith, again, continuing to move forward. He's running in that 5th spot. It's Allgaier, Custer, Nemechek, Austin Hill, and Sammy Smith, the top 5. Under 2 laps to go in stage 1. Cole Custer, Austin Hill, and Justin Allgaier all fighting for every point they can get, and this would be a great points grab for Allgaier if he can hang on and win stage 1. One more time around. Allgaier came in to this race 3 points below the cut line. If he can grab 10 stage points at the end of stage 1, this will make it a little bit easier for him to see that spot in the championship 4. Allgaier is going to win stage 1 here at Martinsville.
Great job, boys. Excellent work.
13th stage win this year. That's the most of all drivers, but that is his first stage win at Martinsville. A bumpy ride for a few here at Martinsville, but it's Allgaier who grabs the most points at the end of stage 1. We'll see if he can capitalize on that as we get ready for stage 2. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Credit One Bank, a credit card company, and by Dead On Tools, made to live out loud. Warm fall weather here in Martinsville. Fans enjoying it, as now we're seeing those that didn't come to pit road before the end of stage one making their way onto pit road. A little bumping and banging there as John Hunter Nemechek's trying to get to his stall. Dave.
Rick, stage winner Justin Allgaier was reminded, a lot to lose if you speed on pit road, so just bring it down carefully. We'll take care of you. Karting, a little bit of an adjustment, needs to be tightened up. As for John Hunter Nemechek, needs grip on the long run, Marty.
Dave, a host of issues for Austin Hill. He said the right rear chatters, almost like it's wheel hopping in the middle of the corner, and he cannot touch the brakes, so a fairly big swing coming at the 21 right now. Cole Custer, 9 critical stage points. He said he's just 0.5% free, but he said make the adjustments very small. I think the track is going to tighten up. And how about that Stewart-Haas pit crew? They gain Cole Custer some spots here, Rick. They will leave of those who pitted with the lead.
Custer grabs a spot. Allgaier loses one. Nemechek, Hill, Kligerman gaining 3 spots coming off of pit road. About to start the second stage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. Dead on Tools 250 from Martinsville Speedway. Kim, what about the 18 now out front again?
Yeah, out front, and they've been confident all weekend. In fact, confident before they even hit the racetrack yesterday for practice and qualifying. Remember, this is the team under the guidance of Jeff Mindering that almost had the winning car last race last year. They won the pole with Brandon Jones. They were leading on the last lap before they got bumped, and they feel like they have a similar car here today for Sammy Smith.
We'll see if he can hold off Mayan Snyder now. Mayan Snyder will restart on the outside, looking very strong here at Martinsville as stage 2 is underway. Door to door for the lead. Snyder on the outside, and now clearing him is the 18 of Sammy Smith. Teammates from Joe Gibb Racing.
2 car in the back of the 98 right there. That's going to sort itself out.
Just update. Justin Allgaier won stage 1. He's in 24th now after that strategy.
Now the only advantage Allgaier has is that the 2 cars he's racing in points is kind of back there with him. I'm not sure that's any consolation to the stress he's under.
They stay too wide back here
And way back here, you're on the inside line. Everybody in front of you that's too wide, they're trying to get to the inside line. So it's tough because everybody's checking up. Look at this here. Cole trying to force it down in there, hoping that Riggs was going to open up the door and let him have that bottom groove. You have to try. You have to see if you can get that driver to fade to the middle. But on this bottom, it's really tough. Everybody in front up there, double files, trying to get the inside. And you're going to check up this inside line over and over and over. You got to be really careful.
Junior, is this what you're talking about, a prize fight in a phone booth?
Yeah, that inside curves like a barrier. So really it limits what you can kind of do.
Oh, Custer's run out of patience.
Yeah, he's in the dirt right there. There's going to be contact.
He hits the 11. 11 goes around. The one of Sam Mayer tries to avoid. The caution comes out.
There's a little contact, too, with the 7 and the 00 beyond this moment.
That was a battle for 19th. You know, from that strategy, this is what happens. You had to play it, Steve. You had to play the strategy, but now you're in the middle of this chaos. That's a little bit of lack of patience in my eyes and Cole's on behalf of Cole.
And Cole has that damage not only to the right front with the contact to the left. We saw the left front as well has contact where the 7's going by. We'll take a look here. Cole says, hey, man, I've been trying to get here lap after lap. I'm finally there. Now he's in the dirt. He's down there in the marbles, into the corner, up the racetrack, into the door of the 11.
And the 7 got by. So Allgaier was able to avoid, but not so lucky for Lane Riggs as he goes around and brings out the caution. Points by watching racing. For answering trivia, you can play fantasy, buy race tickets, and more. You can save those points, trade them in for free tickets, autographed merchandise, and much, much more. Visit NASCAR.com/fan-rewards. So another restart will have to happen as Sammy Smith out in front, but the 3 drivers that were closest in points, take a look at where they're running now.
Well, and that's why we just saw that aggression out of the 00, trying to get 3 wide back at the pack, because with the 18 leading this race, right, that really leaves 1 spot. That's how you have Allgaier and Hale both looking at minus. It's because Cole is the only one above and only by 3 points.
Here's Cole Custer riding along with him.
So here you go. He's trying to get by Lane Riggs. He's on better tires than Lane. Lane will block right there. Cole Custer does not make this move if he's not in this point battle that he's in. Look what's around him. All the guys he's racing in the points. This was a super aggressive move by Cole. You can point the finger at Lane because he's the new guy, but when Cole got down there, there was only one thing that was going to happen. There was no way that he was going to get that car to turn. Let's listen to what they said.
What a idiot. Yeah, I just told Frank Denny's spot for him. I said he's racing like an asshole.
So there's a few that aren't happy.
Well, look, I get it. We've all been there. Junior, we've been there. Steve, you've been there. Look, your whole world is around where you finished today. But Lane Riggs' whole world is where he finishes today. So he doesn't care that you're in this point battle. That's not his job to care that you're in the point battle. He's here trying to earn himself a chance to race in this series full time or in the truck series. I just can't put that on Lane.
And Lane looked as though he was giving that 00 a line.
Well, he threw some blocks, but they weren't super aggressive. Nothing crazier than we've seen here in the past. But the entry angle for turn 1 on the 00 was nobody was going to win there. And so, you know, I think Cole just losing his patience. And I can't say, I mean, I would have probably done the same thing Cole did. You know, you're getting blocked straightaway after straightaway, but again, you're not going to make that corner down there. That contact was avoidable, but Cole didn't give himself a shot.
Yeah, Martinsville happens. You
Yeah.
know? That's what we just watched. That's just Martinsville racing.
So 2 by 2 once again. We're getting ready for the restart here in stage 2. Sammy Smith on the inside. And we see Chandler Smith will be on the outside. Ryan Snyder has chosen that inside line behind Sammy Smith. We'll see if he can hang on to second.
Chandler Smith's going to get a great acceleration off of 2 and clear into second right there. That was absolutely necessary. Myatt's going to get in the back bumper a little bit right there. But Chandler's going to keep the spot. Oh, he eats up the track. Got in the corner hard, up the track a little bit into Riley Herbst. In 4th place. Look at this battle at the bottom.
3 wide. Sam Mayer on the outside, and he's going to get through.
This is hard on a car owner.
Yeah. Allgaier in the 7 on the inside.
Top of the screen, Chandler Smith now getting passed by Ryan Snyder, who continues to have a great day in that 19 car.
They are all in the back of Chandler Smith here.
Chandler Smith's going to be like, what you doing, Josh? Josh getting pushed by the 98 as well. Oh, man, more contact right here.
Yeah, this right here, let's see how Chandler handles this. But if I was Chandler Smith, I'd be pretty frustrated at the moment. I mean, again, he's getting hit in the back of the car.
Josh Berry.
Just shoving you around here.
And more contact made as Berry tries to take the spot away.
What Josh has to hope is that Riley Herbst in that 98 stays right behind the 8 so he can't roll in behind the 8.
Yeah, retaliation's coming if not.
Riley's able to fill that void. Kim.
And right now the 16 team just trying to keep their driver level-headed. They told him to settle in and take a deep breath. That car also not to Chandler's liking. He said the left front pops at the 3/4 mark. That front end will not turn, but the car's also a bit too snappy.
Sheldon Creed, does he put the bumper to the 16? Sure enough, he does.
Well, the 16 put the bumper to the 98. Chandler said, I'm tired of getting pushed around. I'm going to push somebody else around.
All right, guys, it's lap 86. Everybody now, just take a deep breath.
You need to get on everyone's radio.
That was the voice of wisdom we just heard.
Well, I mean, I understand that there's a time and a place, but I haven't seen a pass yet. All this is I'm going to push you out of the way and drive by. That's not a pass.
It's just hard to do it cleanly, Steve. You really realize that to be able to make that pass, it's going to take a little, some level of aggression, because all the cars are pretty even. And again, there's not a lot of power just to drive up underneath somebody on the corner exit.
Riley falling back as Sheldon Creed is around. He was able to clear him. And now Ryan.
Oh, we got the 39 cars around. Down here in the corner. Sorry, there's the 39 car. He just got turned around there.
Get her going, get her going.
Running in the top 10, 7th place, Brian Sieg.
And Riley Herbst was right there next to Ryan Sieg. I'm wondering if it was frustration that got to Riley Herbst.
There's a lot of drivers frustrated in that group. Let's see here, the 39 on the inside just gets loose getting in. You know, charging the corner on that inside, it's so easy to do that. It's so easy to have the rear tire start wheel hopping. When that starts happening, you cannot slow the car down. You can't stop the car. He's spinning out, getting in the corner, and he goes up, and Riley's really lucky. I believe Riley might have seen it coming, right? Riley moves up the track to sort of give him the opportunity to try to, you know, avoid spinning or avoid too much contact to spin Riley out. So, man, when you got a car on the inside of you here at Martinsville, you're always aware of that, right? That possibility of the car coming down there and spinning out on your door. And that's what happened.
This caution is a little bit further from the end of the stage. I'm not sure the same opportunity to kind of, you know, jump over the stage like we did last time. I'd be shocked if we see a lot of takers in this situation, but we have to just see. You never know if there's a gamble from somebody like Austin Hill towards the back, but with only, say, you know, 15 hard laps on their tires, I don't think anybody thinks it's time yet to put the next set of tires on.
And looks like Sam Mayer is going to be one taker that will come to pit road.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman will join him.
Not too many, though, Kim.
No, not one of those cars, though, that is on pit road is the one of Sam Mayer. Remember, had that damage earlier. Overall, the race car just a little bit too loose. Also in Parker Kligerman making a stop. He just needs a little bit more rear grip and turn. So car's really faced with a doozy handling-wise here at Martinsville.
Doing some work on the front end of Parker Kligerman. As a matter of fact, they're going to cut some parts away on the front of that 48. So it was the 39 of Ryan Sieg going around, bringing out the caution for the 5th time already today. Getting ready for the restart here. We're in stage 2 after the caution, and Sammy Smith is out front. Myatt Snyder has put together a very impressive day already, Dave.
The car is incredible today. Myatt running in 2nd place now, and he wants to win a clock, not just for himself, but for his crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe. And the reason? It's Jason Ratcliffe's 800th start today in NASCAR over across the 3 series. He's actually been a crew chief in Xfinity and in Cup. Started at Bruco Motorsports, but then quickly transitioned to Joe Gibbs Racing, where his successes has been a who's who at Joe Gibbs Racing. Jason told me yesterday that he plans on giving it up after this year. He's going to spend more time at home with Christy and the boys, but it's been quite the run. He's been very, very successful and well-liked in the garage area. And for Myatt, a good counsel. This is only Myatt's 5th race of the year. Jason said, we have great stuff when we come to this track, and now it's Myatt's turn to put it to good use.
Yeah, Jason's done such a great job for a long time. Hard to imagine that he won't be on pit road next year, but I have a feeling he'll be around the sport. Myatt Snyder driving for him today. One of those guys that cut his teeth here in late model stocks. Big race for them. Several drivers, Josh Berry, Lane Riggs. Several of those guys have a lot of experience running those cars here.
Ready for the restarts. And it's going to be Sammy Smith and Josh Berry making up row 1. Myatt Snyder in that 19. On the inside, right now fighting for second as Barry's going to clear him.
This is the second time that Myatt has picked the bottom and gotten beat on the restart. He's got to rethink it into the back of Josh Berry.
Barry got loose, straightened it back out. Now Myatt Snyder has to check up a little bit. 3 wide. Here comes Sheldon Creed to the inside.
Both sides, both sides, both sides.
Sheldon Creed on the inside, Chandler Smith on the outside, and now Myatt Snyder falling back as Creed has been able to get by. The 16 of Smith has gotten by.
That was some patience by Myatt Snyder. You know he was frustrated. He was running second, saw some spots getting away from him, but some wise decision making there.
He's gotten a good enough race car, though, that he knows he can get these spots back. I agree. You could see him. There was multiple times he cut several drivers a break.
He's going to get by Chandler Smith now. So Myatt Snyder grabs that spot back. We see John Hunter Nemechek and Cole Custer back here. Both trying to get by that 0-2 of Blaine Perkins. Perkins was fairly quick in practice yesterday.
Cole's just gambling up here on the outside. He actually is glad the 25 went to the bottom. Watch this. How much ground he can make up. Now he's wanting to get in front of the 25 of Moffitt so he can get in front of him.
Get that spot.
Oh, down there in turn 3 and 4. Right in front here. Yep, we're 3 wide.
Myatt Snyder got to the side of the 2. Sheldon Creed as this shakes itself out.
It's a mess right here. Now Cole, is he in the right lane, right? He's trying to stay on this outside, trying to make this pass, and he's now lost a position to the 25 as these cars have been beating on each other, going 3 wide. And
I think he can pass these cars on the outside. He just has to be able to clear that 51 car. If the 51 of Jeremy Clemens could get to the bottom, I think Cole Custer could run to the top. See what Jeremy does right here. See if he goes to the bottom. He does, and that's exactly what Cole Custer wanted.
An option on the outside for Cole Custer.
He could have rolled in behind the 51, but decided, nope, I'm going to jump him on the outside. Now he's got to get to the bottom. Now he has to, yep.
Crossover move.
There you go. That was a great job by Cole. That whole exchange, that 5, 6, 7 laps, that was just really good driving. And he separated himself by about 5 positions over the 21 car.
Clements' hand out the window, gesturing. I don't think it was, hey, that was a good pass. Not exactly sure what he was saying there with the hand gesture. So Clements tucks in behind the 00. It's Sammy Smith, Josh Berry, Myatt Snyder, Creed, and Chandler Smith, the top 5. Tight racing continuing around the paperclip here, Martinsville Speedway. It's time now for the Toyota driver update as we take a look at Sammy Smith out front. He has led 90 of the 110 laps that are complete, and continuing to add to that number. The only other driver that's been out front has been Justin Allgaier for 20 laps. Kim.
And Sammy Smith having a dominant day, but he did say the rear brakes feel a little bit weird. Here's the team communication.
Because the brake thing, like they're not glazed, but it's like the pedal's not pulsating either. It's just kind of weird. The rears are weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we were a little cool at the beginning, got a little bit of pad buildup because it's hard to burn that off, especially on the rears.
So crew chief Jeff Mendering didn't seem concerned when he communicated with Sammy Smith, said, yeah, but we've got the speed. So Steve, would you be concerned if your driver was telling you that?
Well, no, I wouldn't. I mean, it didn't sound like Sammy was too concerned. He was kind of he was a little bit of a loss for words on how to explain it. Maybe it just wasn't stopping as good as it could have. But what the crew chief was saying there, Jeff Mendering, he might have had some pad buildup. If you actually need the brakes to run hot enough to operate and burn it all back off, and if you can overcool, you can actually kind of get some pad transfer to the disc, as we see a little smoke right here in front of Sammy Smith. That was more exciting than he was looking for.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman was slow right there in the 48 as they went by him. Might be some damage to the left front of Parker Kligerman's number 48. The drivers again that were all around the cut line, the 00 of Cole Custer, the 7 of Justin Allgaier, and the 21 of Austin Hill.
And to add to the Sammy Smith story, the other reason you wouldn't have too much concern is because guess how much you can do about it? Is zero.
Yes.
So other than a little bit of brake balance or turning a brake fan off, I don't want to show, even if I'm worried, I don't think I want to show my hand to my driver.
We showed Cole Custer doing a great job on that restart and picking up spots. What that's done is he's now in 8th place, and he has one car in front of him. I don't think he can get to him with 4 to go, but the guys he's racing for in points, Allgaier is in 12th, Austin Hill in 17th. No points going to get gained by Austin Hill. Allgaier, there's 2 right in front of him. He might can get those to get 1 point. That was all done with that work that Custer did on the restart.
Less than 3 to go in stage 2. And again, the drivers needing the points. The only one that's inside the top 10 is Cole Custer. Allgaier would have to clear Clements and Herbst to be able to grab at least a single point at the end of this stage.
Well, Riley Herbst is struggling. If a little bit of contact in that 98 car, he looks very loose to me. And up the racetrack he would go. I have a feeling we're going to find out here in just a lap.
On the last lap of stage 2. Allgaier door to door for 11th. He's going to take that spot away, or at least try to, from Jeremy Clements. It will be Sammy Smith, though, taking stage 2. Josh Berry, Myatt Snyder, Creed, Kaz Grala, Parker Retzlaff finishing 6th. Chandler Smith, Custer, Jones, and Herbst. Most laps that Sammy Smith has led in a race. Already out front, 100. Sammy Smith needs to win here at Martinsville. That was the smoke we saw earlier from Parker Kligerman. John Hunter Nemechek, after finishing in the 3rd position in stage 1, gained 8 points, and with those 8 points and the worst he could run today in this race, that clinches a spot in the championship 4 for the driver of the 20. So John Hunter Nemechek now joining Sam Mayer as 2 of the championship 4. That means only 2 spots to be determined. Kim.
Routine service for Sammy Smith, top left. He said he lost rear lateral grip later in the run, just struggling with that rear grip, so they will make a slight adjustment. You see that there. 4-tire Sunoco fuel. Chandler Smith said the rear was chattering his teeth out. They are taking a major swing. That's why this is a longer stop. They're either going to be really good, they told him, or really bad, but they can't win like they are, Marty.
Sheldon Creed said he's having to guard the right rear on entry, Kim, just too free there, and he said he's losing his speed through the center in 3 and 4. What a fight for Cole Custer. Restarted stage 2 in 21st, but earned stage points, 12 stage points today. He said the speed is good, it just gets too tight at the end of the run. Custer will come off pit road. Look at that. Sam Mayer, no tires, 13 spots gained for Sam Mayer and that one team, Rick.
So we will reset the field and we'll get that final stage underway to determine who the 2 will join. Next Saturday from Phoenix Raceway, it all gets decided. The NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship. And race coverage on USA at 7 p.m. Eastern. There will be a new Xfinity Series champion. None of the drivers fighting for that championship 4 have ever won a championship. And so the 4 drivers will be fighting for their first championship next weekend. We take a look at the points earned today. Sammy Smith gained the most at 16, Cole Custer 12, Wyatt Snyder 11. We saw Allgaier get 10 from winning stage 1, and Nemechek with those 8 points that clinched his spot in the championship 4. Dave.
So Mayer is in, Nemechek is clinched on points. The next 2 are Custer and Allgaier. Here's what Allgaier was told.
So I know you noticed, but I just want to talk about it. 00 is no better than us. In fact, we're better than him. He just got the outside lane, fought for it, and he got the position. I think the outside works better at the initial starts.
So trying to figure out where he is better. He does have that first pit stall too, which beat them on that end of stage 1 first pit. So we'll see how it goes here. There's plenty of room left for several guys to advance, but the 2 closest in points right now are the 00 and the 7.
The 2 closest in points are the 00 and the 7. The 21 still has a chance to get in on points, but the task is also clear for the 3 at the bottom. Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith, and Sheldon Creed. Victory lane, or they will not be part of the championship 4. That's the goal for the 18, 16, and 2.
This will be an interesting restart with Lane Riggs and Brian Sieg up front. And so you got those 2 cars out front on old tires. Sam Mayer as well on older tires in 3rd. A lot of non-playoff drivers right up here trying to take advantage.
Final stage is underway. Lane Riggs on the inside. Ryan Sieg on the outside. Contact made. Sammy Smith right there in the 18. See if he takes advantage of that one going up the racetrack. Tries to dive in there, cannot, as Sam Mayer grabs second. Now up the racetrack he goes. Here comes Sammy Smith for second.
That's a great job by Sammy Smith in turn one. Could have easily caused a wreck right there. Did not do it. Here he is battling for second.
So much confidence of the driver behind the wheel of the one, Sam Mayer. After getting a couple wins, his first one earlier this year, he's rolled off a few wins. And now once again running up front as he slides into that third spot.
This final stage much longer, right? 118 to go right here. All of these cars can make it on fuel, right around 130 laps. So now the question is, all the leaders have one more set of tires in the pits. When do you put those on? You definitely won't if we don't see a yellow, but when we see a yellow, as Sheldon Creed sends the 39 up the racetrack.
Cole Custer's going to fill that hole, and Sheldon Creed's going to be glad he did. Battle for the lead right here. The 18 car is going to go right around this 11. Sammy Smith with arguably the best car here today, doing an amazing job.
Sammy Smith cleared that 11 of Riggs and takes the lead here at Martinsville.
Riggs doing a good job. Riggs doing a good job on them older tires, maintaining this track position as the cars around him on older tires as well. Mayer, Sieg, they're falling back through the field.
Cole Custer in that 0-0 has made it up to 7th, Marty.
Yeah, Rick, we talked about the head-to-head battle between Custer, Allgaier, and Hill today. That's exactly the update Cole Custer wanted at the end of the stage. Listen.
21, so that puts us 5 points ahead of him. We scored 2 points over the 7 today on stage points. That puts us 5 points over him. So we are 5 points above both of them going into this last stage. 10 points.
Steve, what is it like on top of the pit box when every point matters for a shot to make it to the championship 4?
Well, you're double and triple checking your math, making sure it's much more difficult with these stages to understand what you need. But once you get to the finish of the second stage, then it becomes clear. And that's what you heard for communication on the 0-0. They now know what they have to do, how much they have to outrun the 7 by, assuming the 18 wins the race. If the 18 doesn't win the race, things change. But I think at this point, you have to assume that.
Sammy Smith knows what's in front of him. He has to win the race if he wants to advance. And he's out front.
I haven't seen a car, Rick, that can compete with this 18 all day long. He gets the lead and he drives away. We got some smoke right here on the 35 car.
And Chris Hackert, it looks like he ran into the back of somebody, did some damage to the front end, and now we're seeing tire rub.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cars with good damage similar to that throughout the field.
There's that damage to Hackert and also some damage to the 48. Parker Kligerman.
This 0-0, talking about can anybody run with Sammy Smith? I think he can. He's got, if he doesn't make everybody mad along the way, you know, you can see his windshield. He was complaining about fluid from the 2. And you can see his windshield. There's certainly fluid from something.
Jeff, yes, several teams have complained that the 2 car, Sheldon Creed, is leaking rear gear oil. So, Steve, it's been a while since we've heard someone talk about it. Now you can see it on Cole Custer's screen. Is that something that the 2 team could live with for the final 110 laps?
Well, I just don't know if they have much option unless they have extra gear cooling available. It's a very hot day. Jeff, you and I were down there for pre-race. We've talked a lot about what it might do to the driver. Even mentioned what it might do to the engine with the air being much warmer coming into the radiator. But the rear gear here is under tremendous load. This is where it runs perhaps the warmest and the airspeed the slowest. So unless they have an extra NACA duct, one of the vents in the quarter windows to open, they're going to have to live with it, Marty, unfortunately for the 2 car.
Cole Custer trying to make this pass. It's going to be a hard one there. Creed running him tight off the corner. Cole's not going to get any pressure from behind, so he can focus straight out the windshield here. Got a teammate there taking care of him. on his back bumper. Creed's going to try to enter high here wide, then come down the racetrack if he can and throttle up and accelerate better on corner exit. That 00, little by little, every corner gets a little further up alongside.
Creed on that outside line now, and they're lining up inside of it.
He's far enough up on him now where he can kind of run up the racetrack and take the middle away from Creed.
Creed still fighting off the corner here, going to be straight up down the back straightaway. And they're both running up on these two cars in front of them, Sam Mayer and Lane Riggs in that 11. Hardy.
Boy, what a battle for the 6th spot, Junior. So, Steve, to the point you made a moment ago about the rear gear issue for the 2 car, Jeff Stankiewicz has not said a word to his driver. So I'm not sure Sheldon Creed knows they have a rear gear issue. Is that something you are on board with, not telling your driver at all? Because at this point, to your point, what can you do?
Yeah, there's no reason to worry your driver. He has enough going on. He has the task ahead of needing to win this race. You know, whatever that liquid we see coming, if it is from the rear gear of the 2, it's actually a bigger issue for the cars behind him than it is the 2 car himself.
Yeah, right now Sheldon Creed running in the 7th spot, but a lot of pressure being put on him by Riley Herbst in the 98.
And Cole Custer, you can see he has gotten beside the 1, now beside the 11 of Riggs. And ahead of this is clean racetrack, and he will be glad to see it. He has been in the middle of chaos ever since that strategy to pit. Look at this view now. That is the nicest thing you'll see at Martinsville. Now he can just run his race, run his line.
Try to click off laps for Cole Custer. He's made his way up to 4th. Sammy Smith, Josh Berry, and Mike Snyder in front of him. Seventh caution comes out. This time it's Lane Riggs who goes around and had a little bit of help here. The one of Sam Mayer.
Yeah, they get down in the corner and Sam just gets into the back of him and doesn't take a whole lot to get this 11 car turned around. Everybody's on old tires sliding around, and Lane's like, man, what do I got to do? I've been kind of used up here trying to come out here and have a good result, and he was driving a great race right there in front of this whole group, and unfortunately gets turned around by Sam.
So now it's decision time, and an uncomfortable decision. You mentioned it, older tires, 25 laps on these tires, but 95 to go. You know, is it time to pit? If you're Sammy Smith, is this when you're putting your last set of tires on? And you know, you're guessing what you're going to have for yellows. If we have a rash of yellows, we might not have a lot of racing. If we don't have a lot of yellows, you could have a long green flag run. I mean, it's so difficult to decide. I would not put my set of tires on now if I'm the 18, and if that's the case, I would absolutely put my set of tires on now if I'm the 2 of Sheldon Creed. I have to get off strategy with the 18. It looks to me like the 7 of Allgaier is going to be the guy who says, I'm going to get off strategy with the 00 and the 21. Now, I can't imagine this would only be adjustments. Now the 21 as well pits with him. So now that means that the 7 and the 21 have put the 00 kind of on an island by himself in this points battle. It's going to be very fascinating, Dave, how this all plays out.
They went back and forth. Jim Pullman said to him, if 4 in front of you pit, then we pit. Well, obviously none did, but then he called him in, pit, pit, pit. Now Justin's car is loose. He really needed an adjustment to be better, but as you pointed out, last set of tires right here, Marty.
Kind of the only move Austin Hill and the 21 team could make. Mike Shilput making the call to bring him down pit road. Hill said the car went through a dramatic swing, got way tight, especially 5/8 mark of the corner. So these guys putting on their final set of Goodyear tires. When Hill came down pit road, he was minus 16 out of the championship 4 at the moment. So the move, hoping they will get him some track position.
All right, you got your calculator,
sure,
your pen, your paper, you got your pad out.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith wins the race and advances. That leaves 1 spot in points.
Okay.
That battle is between Cole Custer, the 7 of Allgaier, the 21 of Austin Hill. 3 guys, 1 spot. If Sammy Smith does not win the race, or another driver below him at points, now we have 2 seats in that reservation. We made a reservation. We're not sure if it's 1 or 2 seats. Now these 2 seats, still the 3 racing for it, the 00, the 7, and the 21. Now the 7 and the 21, they have their last set of tires on. They need or want this race to go green for a little bit, use those tires, make magic happen. The 00, he has a set of tires to go. What he'd love to do is see this thing go right 30 or 40 laps. Then another caution comes out. He's going to come put his last set of tires on and then try to run the 7 and the 21 down. The simple fact is, with 93 to go, we basically know that John Hunter's advanced. That's what we've learned so far with 93 to go in this race. There's still a lot of open-ended questions.
I loved your explanation, though, of where we are and how we're doing as far as if the 18 wins or if the 18 doesn't win. Let's listen in on Allgaier's radio.
All right, man, seeing as a spring race, you know the plan here. I hate to have to do it to you, but heads up racing, that's how I had to call it, man.
I like that radio. I like that they're on the same page. And you know, I said I wouldn't have put on my last set of tires here. I would be on the 00 strategy. I've lost more races than I've ever won, so I don't expect to be right. I like that the 7 and crew chief and driver sound like they're on the same page. This is Martinsville in a nutshell. That's what makes this place so special to win. That makes that grandfather clock so magical to put into your trophy case, because you have to have a good car, some good brakes, and kind of get the race to fall your way.
I think it was an acceptance and an understanding of the position.
Yeah.
They weren't going to win, but the work that Custer did at stage 2, that put them in a bad spot. And I just don't think they were going to get enough positions between he and Custer. So they accepted their situation and they said, we got to do something different. And that's what they did.
Choose taking place. Steve, you made that sound like you might be the only one who's lost more than they've won. Everyone in this sport has lost more than they have won.
I'm not sure
very
Jimmy
hard.
Johnson did. It's
very hard to win.
Me. I think Jimmy Johnson won more than he lost. Let's listen in to Austin Hill in the 21.
I know it's frustrating. You're doing everything you can, and ideally perfect right now, but it's not over till it's over. We still got just under 100 laps to go. Anything can still happen. Keep going with everything you got. I know you are. Yeah, 10-4.
I kind of like the lack of detail on that one. Sometimes it can be too much. I mean, you heard how complicated it is. Just guess what? Try to pass the car in front of you. That's what I need you to do.
Coming back to the restart. Now, just 90 laps to go to determine the championship 4. Sammy Smith up the racetrack and holding on to that top spot. Josh Berry and Myatt Snyder fighting for second. Custer up here running in the 4th position. Look at the moves by the 7 of Allgaier.
Allgaier's in the 3rd lane. I didn't know there was a 3rd lane, but Allgaier is trying it.
Austin Hill's in front of him in the 21.
Cautions
And
out,
cautions
back it
come
out.
out.
Yeah, we had a car spin down in turn 1 and 2. A little harmless single car spin here by the 53.
Ogata goes around.
So that wasn't a great restart for Justin. He got moved up out of the groove. Lost a few spots. Austin Hill up to 22nd. Let's take a look here. The 7 gets on the brake. It's a little bit of contact right there. But down here in this corner, so Austin Hill's going to go 3 wide. The 7 goes way up the racetrack. He's in the marbles, in the dirt, getting all that on his tires. His car's not turning, not going.
So the 8th caution has come out here at Martinsville. Akinori Ogata goes around in that 53.
Plan 1 from Outer Space, wasn't that a movie?
Tomorrow, Sunday Night Football. Chicago Bears face Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. That coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern with Football Night in America on NBC and Peacock. You know, Chicago, big win last week over the Raiders. And the Chargers looking to shake off their loss to the Chiefs. Kim.
And for playoff driver Chandler Smith, that car still not right, has been ill all race long. You see them bottom right. He said we messed up the left front. They are pitting for some significant adjustments, Marty.
Sheldon Creed, top of your screen, pitting, and a playoff driver in the top 10. They discussed about not coming, then they decided eventually to do something different than everybody else. Creed said just way too free in the center of the corner for that 2 car. Last set of Goodyear tires going on with 85 to go.
I love the call by Creed. It's all situational. So he's in a must-win. The 18 has control of the race. Following the 18 down pit road, if he chooses to pit on one of the next cautions coming up, I'm not sure that helps the 2. He has to do something different.
Getting ready for the restart of the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. Dead on Tools 250 as drivers working their way around the track. Some of the lap down cars coming back to pit road. Dave, what's happening with the 7 and their strategy?
Well, he may have to get a little aggressive, Rick. Before that last restart, he was in 23rd position. This is what his spotter, Eddie DeHunt, told him.
Fighting for our lives here. Do not get a flat tire. Other than that, you got to punt people. It's time.
Justin Allgaier, one of the nicer guys, but behind the wheel, he's got to be tough. He's got to be aggressive. Remember, he's been to the championship 5 times. Wants to be there a 6th time to try to get his first championship.
So if I'm driving the 7, what I just heard is if I don't do things out of the ordinary, I am not going to have a chance to go to Phoenix. That's what I heard. I got told by my spotter, it's time to pump people. It's time to get going. Do whatever you got to do other than cut a tire. And that is, hey, we're in this situation. And the only way we're going to do it is for you to just knock people out of the way. And I'm not 100% sure that's the information he needed. I think he would have been way better off to be told the entire situation rather than that abbreviated. We are come to the end of our race with 83 to go. We'll see how it works out.
So the 16, I believe, had a penalty on pit road, right, Kim?
Yeah, and that's not the only issue. The balance has been off. They got that penalty. Now Chandler said the power steering has started to go away. The water temperature's up. Listen to the team's radio.
If it gets too hot, just park it this time. Do not blow up another engine. Have to watch your temperatures here.
We're at 300, water pressure 60.
So it looks like their chance at a championship 4 spot is over at this point.
Must-win situation for Chandler Smith. There's a speeding penalty for the 24 of Connor Mozak as well. Choose has taken place. Once again, Sammy Smith will restart on the inside. Josh Berry will be on the outside. Cole Custer on the inside of row 2. Riley Herbst on the outside of row 2.
If you're Austin Hill and Algar, you like these little short runs and cautions. You try to gain a few spots while it's green, get a yellow, get an opportunity to restart and do it all over again. That's your only way to get to Custer.
81 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Custer falls back to third. Riley Herbst stuck on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek in the 20. Again, advancing based on points. Sam Mayer under fire now as Nemechek dives inside.
That was almost pretty wide. Herbst did a good job giving a lane down there for that 20 car. Was able to clear him now down here in 3 and 4.
Herbst almost to the curb, but the 20 adding pressure. Josh Berry just in front of Cole Custer. Sam Mayer's going to lose another spot. This one going to the 26 of Kaz Gralla.
Sam's damage to the nose and wore out tires. He's sliding around out there. Car hasn't been good all weekend. Didn't qualify well.
Brandon Jones on the inside of Sam Mayer. Teammates from Junior Motorsports. Parker Retzlaff in the 31 on the inside of Jeremy Clements. And we see Jeff Burton back there in the 27.
Just so hard to make that pass on the inside. And the one's fighting and almost clear. And up front, though, the 00 is going to get around the 8. Cole Custer to second place. 48.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman slow on the racetrack. We saw him spin earlier. Now something on the right side. The right front is down. Sparks coming out.
He's on the front straightaway. That's going to bring the yellow out.
And another caution, another restart in front of us.
You said that some of these guys wanted cautions to happen quickly. The question is, did Cole Custer want them or is he better off this thing going about 30 laps, 35 laps, and then pit and put a set of tires on? Steve, it's going to be a difficult decision for that team right now.
This is going to be next to impossible for both Sammy Smith and Cole Custer to understand what they need to do. Whether now's the time to pit or has it been too short of a time to waste that last set of tires.
9 cautions already at Martinsville.
We're back with stops under caution. Sam Mayer finishing up service, no adjustments there. As you see, Sammy Smith, top right. He said just need a little bit on lateral grip during the long run. Dave.
John Hunter Nemechek stayed on the track and did not pit this time.
Jonathan Tony told Cole Custer, Dave, do whatever the leader does. So when Sammy Smith came down pit road, Custer followed him. He said no concern about the handling, but Steve, he did say the volts are maybe an issue. 12.5 volts, and when he turned everything off in the car electrically, it did go up to 13 volts. Does that concern you for Custer?
Absolutely. It tells me that the alternator's not charging. Maybe they could cycle it to see if it can work, but to run around here on a hot day with everything turned off, your cooling fans, your driver fans, I'm not sure if that's going to work for the 00. And for Sammy Smith in the 18, I think this is the time. You either pit it under this yellow junior, get fresh tires, or you committed to staying out the rest of the race, because Austin Hill was already up to 13th with a little bit fresher tires. This was going to be a really, really tough decision for Jeff Mendering either way. He feels like the tires weren't going to hold on all the way to the end of the race, so you can't pit with 20 to go and give your driver no time to use his fresh tires. So here is the commitment. We'll see if it works out. Such a great car in clean air, though. He's going to have his work cut out for him now.
I'll be honest with you, though, the 12.5 volts doesn't really bother me. I mean, that doesn't sound like, you know, that's that low, especially at this point in the race under all loads, right? Brake fans and all those other things. I mean, what do you typically expect out of the voltmeter at this point?
Running 14.
Yeah.
The alternator's working.
Okay.
So it's not charging. It really comes down to the battery making or not, right? So to your point, you know, there is less than 75 to go, so you think you probably can manage it. The question is, if he has to shut his fans off, does it take away car performance? I think they could probably nurse it to the end, but can they nurse it to the end with the speed they need?
Yeah, Sammy Smith. Contact right here. See the 35 trying to pit the 8 coming out. Contact, got the left front, and I'm not sure how much damage it is on Josh Berry's car.
This is maybe a better look at it. I'm not quite sure, but the 35 is just trying to find his stall. Wow, that's hard contact for Josh on the right front.
Those moments you're thankful you're at a short track, right? If that's at a big track, you're crushed.
Yeah, that's why you want that #1 pit stall.
Absolutely.
You see all the damage that happened to Sam Mayer there as he was coming out of his stall.
This race for Sam Mayer is just a reminder. It's not as easy as it's been lately, right? Everything's been going great for Sam Mayer. Got himself a chance to win a championship next weekend. This is a wake-up call. Hey, you gotta be on your game. Everything's got to go right. You got to do everything perfect. Sometimes these races are great reminders headed into a big race like that's coming up.
Sammy Smith had this same challenge earlier. Remember, they pitted before the end of the stage. He got all the way back to 6th in that stage. So here he is on the outside. I'm going to call it, what's that, row 8, maybe 9, maybe 10, row 9 or 10. So now he's going to have to work and work hard. You mentioned the struggle that Allgaier and Austin Hill had on a couple restarts. The 18 needs to make these tires work right away.
John Hunter Nemechek on the inside. Austin Hill on the outside as we get ready for the restart. Now just 68 laps to go. Older tires versus fresher tires. How long will it take for those fresher tires to work? As Sammy Smith already fighting to try to break into the top 10.
They were 3 wide right here down into turn 1.
A little bit of contact right there from the 11.
All clear now, all clear.
Sammy Smith and the 00 are on the outside. How will this work out for them? Sammy Smith trying to get down on the inside. Custer says, well, I'll go to the top. I'll stay up here, stay committed to it. But they're 3 wide right here in front of the 00.
Sheldon Creed there in the 2. Chasing after Lane Riggs. There's some contact made. Now it's aggressive short track racing as Myatt Snyder's able to keep it straight, but a lot of contact. Car into the wall on the inside. That's Connor Mozak. He's got a tire down. He's going to spin. Contact with Jeremy Clements. The caution comes back out.
I'm going to tell you that caution, Cole Custer was glad to see it because there was trouble right there. He was in the middle of chaos. This is damage to the car. It was a lot of contact. I don't know if this is I'm going to pit damage. If the tires aren't rubbing, you have to stay out here.
We see right here, Mike Snyder doesn't quite know they're 3 wide. There's a lot of contact right there. The 91 kept his nose in that 3 wide situation, and
Cole Custer was going to be 3 wide with all of that debris on his tires. He was getting ready to lose a lot of spots. Actually, it looks like the 19 car got the right rear quarter panel. He got hit in the right rear quarter panel.
More contact for Custer right there with the left front and the 19 getting together. Here we're riding on board.
Yeah, watch this.
Go through this whole experience here.
That's what happened.
More contact coming up right here. Bam. It's pretty incidental, but he's fortunate to get out of that with no more damage. No issues to his tires.
Yeah, the 24 car of Connor Mozak on the bottom. Cole Custer got really lucky he didn't get cleaned out right here. I mean, I know Cole Custer doesn't believe he's lucky at the moment with damage and everything that just happened, but a lot worse could have happened.
Yeah, the 24 was into the inside wall down the front straightaway and traveled into turn 1. There's nothing but debris down there on that bottom groove on the entry against the wall. There's no chance of him making that corner.
And Steve, the top part of the nose of the 00, that's not where the cooling comes. The cooling is on the bottom, so it shouldn't affect the cooling of this race car.
You wouldn't think, unless it's like cave the cooling duct down on the radiator, I think they should be all set.
We'll have a restart under 62 laps to go from Martinsville. Right now, only 2 spots available in the championship 4. We watched the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. Dead on Tools 250 from Martinsville Speedway. And those 2 spots are available for these 4 drivers right now. As far as points go, Sammy Smith, he's going to need to win, but we've seen him out front for 146 laps. Right now, he's back in 9th. As we'll get ready for the restart. Little fresher tires on Sammy Smith's car. Kim?
And Rick, before the race, Sammy told me if there was one track where he wouldn't worry about being a must-win, it would be this track. JGR is so good here. He has experience here. The team just told him on the radio, we have a good enough car to drive through and win this thing. This caution is exactly what they needed, Dave.
Justin Allgaier's crew chief told me he is really good here, but he hasn't won because half the time he's points battling. He's in a must-win situation. He probably would have been better off and probably would have won here. He's kind of walking the line right now, Marty. He may need to win and be up front there to get this.
Dave, Austin Hill is in the best position he's been in the entire day here at Martinsville. Said the car lacks a little bit of drive, but they finally are on the right side of the cut line. When they told him a moment ago, we've got no more sets of tires, he said, quote, I'll give it all I've got. Hopefully that's enough. Cole Custer, we saw that damage he got a moment ago. He said the car is fine. No worries there. Also no worries on the water temperature, and the water pressure is fine as well. So Jeff, you got it right. Where that damage is, not affecting the car at all.
Yeah, that's it. Look, there's damage, but we've seen cars with more damage win Martinsville. I think the key for Cole is to recognize the situation he's in, understand what he needs to do to accomplish the goal. Where is Austin Hill? He can look up there and see him. Where is Allgaier? He can look up there and see him. How many points am I behind? How many people do I need to pass? That's really what this is. And you got 57 laps to do it. There's no need for panic in my eyes right now with a 0-0.
And we'll remind you, every position is a point. And right now, as they run, the 21 is 5 points above the 0-0 of Cole Custer. The 7 is 4 points above Cole Custer. So those two drivers currently have the final 2 spots for the championship 4.
Well, the struggle is Allgaier's running 3rd while Custer's back at 12th. So when you say he's 4 points ahead, that's a good news. Now the bad news is there's a lot of points in front of Custer. He could easily find 4 or 5 points. Can Allgaier continue to advance? That's the question.
Listened into the 7 radio of Allgaier.
This whole group here on your pit box is, I got your back, man. We believe in you. We believe we can win this championship. 100% got your back.
Yes, sir.
Dave.
That was the voice of Jim Pullman, crew chief this year and signed up to be crew chief next year. Jim and Justin go way, way back to before he was ARCA Racing, and then when Justin was ARCA Racing, they won a championship together back in 2008. Last year, Pullman got the call to come over and try to help Justin Allgaier have his championship. They do have his back. Jim Pullman's had it for a long time, and their relationship is very tight. Jim would like to get to Phoenix with a chance to win the championship and win it with Justin.
Allgaier is going to restart in that 2nd row on the inside line as the choose is taking place. Mike Snyder chooses that inside line as well. Cole Custer the outside line.
And that cycle was very good for Sammy Smith. Restarted row 9, row 10, the last yellow. Now he's all the way up in row 4.
We're riding on board with Sammy right here. He has the best tires of all the cars out here in front of him, and he's going to try to make quick work. The laps are running out, but he's had a fast enough race car to drive away from this field. Is it good enough to drive through it?
And he's done a great job. Like, he has not gotten himself in trouble. He's done a really good job.
In here, we got 54 to go when we get the green here. Long way, sitting P8.
Telling the driver where they are and what they need. Nemechek on the inside, Hill on the outside. Allgaier giving the 20 a shove.
Hill doing a good job on this outside right here. He's going to have to run this 20 really tight. 20 up the racetrack. Hill powers back on the throttle, noses ahead.
Hill strong on the outside.
Keep them tight, keep them tight.
Once again, the 20. Little assistance there from the 7. Allgaier brings it in. Can he get to the back bumper again? This time he can't. But they stay door to door for the lead. Hill, the nose just out in front. Can't quite clear him.
This will be a good exit for this 21 right here. Might be able to get down in front. He is. Austin Hill to the lead.
Austin Hill takes the point at Martinsville. Drivers trying to win their way into the championship 4, and Austin Hill wants to have that control as he's behind the wheel, but a caution comes out. And once again, the 53 goes around. So Ogata bringing another caution out today. This one's number 11.
That restart is what Austin Hill is all about. I mean, that's how he drives. Just very hard-nosed. Did everything right. Entered the corner high, any higher, and he's out of the groove, but entered it just the right amount so he could leave as low as possible. Pinched Nemechek down at the right places. We see that from Austin Hill. He's such a smart race car driver, but he's also super aggressive.
With Hill in front now, the 7 of Allgaier and the 00 of Cole Custer, separated by 4 points. Those two fighting for that final spot. We'll have a restart when we return. Less than 50 laps remain in this elimination race. It's the Dead on Tools 250 from Martinsville Speedway. Austin Hill out in front, and if Austin Hill stays in that position, that means Allgaier and Cole Custer are continuing to fight for every point, because right now they're only separated by 4 points for that final spot in the championship 4. And one of the playoff drivers that has had a very tough day, Chandler Smith, out of the car, standing by with Marty.
Yeah, Rick, the championship run over for Chandler Smith and Colleague Racing. Boy, you guys had a host of issues. What finally put you out?
The engine was about to blow up, and then kind of was managing those temperatures and whatnot, and that last restart I was a part of stacked up again, barely got into the guy in front of me and already had damage, so made it a lot worse, but just sucks. I've had a really good year with this number 16 quick tie group, a great group of guys. Had a lot of fun this year. I hate that we went out on this note, but looking forward to finishing things off at Phoenix, and can't wait to get back home with my wife and see what the good Lord has in store for us next year.
Rick, they made the round of 8, but the championship run ends here for Chandler Smith at Martinsville.
Well, we know one playoff driver now that has had his championship hopes dashed.
Sammy Smith, with how everybody picked right there, what lane they chose, he gained a row. He's now starting in 6th in that outside lane. Cole Custer 2 rows behind him.
Sammy Smith with the freshest tires. And we'll see how he does when he's starting in the 6th spot. Hill and Nemechek back into the gas. 44 laps to go.
It's not a great restart for that inside line in Austin Hill, and now the 20 of Nemechek has the advantage on the outside. Hill's going to have to be aggressive here.
Look at the 00 at the bottom of your screen. Everybody race to the bottom. Look how many spots he picked up.
Sammy Smith in the 5th place as well, and that 18 we got a crash on the front straightaway. It's going to bring out another yellow.
That was a huge exchange for the 00. He got a lot of spots on the outside, and then this caution stops it, and now he has an advantage over the 7 car.
See all the damage to the 4 of Yaley. The 43 of Ryan Ellis.
Yeah, crush panel laying right there, rear, left rear, probably left rear crush panel. Ford gets a little loose. I think the 43 was on his inside, and they just came together, and really came together. That last little bit of contact doing quite a bit of damage.
Fabricators job security here in Martinsville. A lot of cars to fix.
Price of metal goes up every race.
So now Sammy Smith is scored 5th. Cole Custer has made his way up to 7th. The points between the 00 and the 7, 2 points separate them, with now Cole Custer in front of Allgaier for that last spot.
Let's watch this restart from Cole Custer's point of view. What happens here is that everybody starts fighting for the bottom of the racetrack, right? So everybody thinks, hey, I got to go to the bottom, got to protect this. Lane Perkins to the bottom, and that opened the door. So now he's got a little better tire. He can drive in the corner, get alongside of him. He's in front of him right there. Then the caution comes out. That was big for Custer.
Yeah, it went from a 4-point deficit to a 2-point advantage. Let's listen into their radio.
Well, the 2 is in the same boat as 18. And honestly, the 21 and the 7 at this point, you got 4 of them up there that's got to win to guarantee it. So it's going to get crazy here. So we're just going to have to miss it.
Gonna get. I feel like it's already been crazy.
Under 40 laps to go, and it might be just short stints to the end of this race. Cautions galore. There's already been 12 here at Martinsville. We know Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell are going to fight for a championship in Phoenix next weekend, but who's going to join them? Tomorrow we will find out. 2 o'clock on NBC. this Cup Series playoff elimination race, where 2 more drivers will try to add their names to that championship 4. Will wrap up the evening at 6 o'clock with NASCAR America post-race. That will stream live on Peacock. But Denny Hamlin has said this is his year. He's below the cut line. He's going to have to fight for every point in every position here tomorrow at Martinsville. Marty.
Rick, meanwhile, 38 to go for the Xfinity Series to decide the championship 4. Calculators working overtime in the 0-0 pit.
You finish 5th, it don't matter what they do. So you finish 5th, and we can go to finish. 10-4.
Steve, it can't go more simple than that, can it? Cole Custer knows he's sitting in 7th. He needs 2 more spots, and they get to race for a championship next Saturday.
Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into that. Potential new winners, who he's racing against. So restart here with 36 to go. It has a lot on the line. Sammy Smith knows what he has to do, but then you have Austin Hill and Allgaier counting points with Custer. Creed also right there in 3rd. Let's not count him out. What's he willing to do?
And to confuse the matter a little bit more, there's a few guys behind them that pitted later. Jeb Burton, lap 178. Riley Herbst, we've seen him in the front, 178. Brandon Jones, 178. So they have better tires than everybody in front.
Getting ready for the restart once again. John Hunter Nemechek on the outside. Austin Hill on the inside.
Green flag, green flag.
That inside line, again, not as good as the outside line. Nemechek coming off of 2. He's going to try to clear that 21 before they get into 3. He does. Here comes Allgaier. Creed and Allgaier side by side for 3rd. John Hunter Nemechek, already the winningest driver this year in the Xfinity Series with 7 race wins, out in front trying to make it 8.
And this battle behind, you saw Cole Custer jump to the outside. I question that decision. I don't think he recognizes that 27 car has newer tires.
And now how aggressive with under 34 laps to go do these playoff drivers get?
Oh, a lot of spots right here. You saw the 7 have an issue.
Up the racetrack went Allgaier, and now here comes Cole Custer.
Oh, this is going to get tight.
The 2 cars in the best spots, Austin Hill and Cole Custer, and now it's Allgaier who's 4 spots back.
I don't know how he goes up there and gets those positions. He's got some really, really fast cars in front of him. Newer tires on that 27. And then Sammy Smith in 4th, driving his heart out. This is a 7 car, getting a little bit of help up the racetrack.
A little bit of smoke in front of Allgaier there. That was on pit road. Lane Riggs in the 11.
Oh, we got a spin mid-pack.
Caution.
Yellow.
This time the 26 of Kaz Grala with a lot of damage to the front end. 13 cautions. And still 30 laps remain.
And every caution, Sammy Smith gets 1 or 2 cars. Up to 4th spot now.
Yeah, you mentioned those drivers with new tires. Sammy Smith is leading the way, right? Sammy Smith, Jeb Burton, Cole Custer, all the same amount of laps on their tires, and they're making it much harder for Allgaier to try to find those positions.
I'm waiting for these restarts to get even more insane because, you know, you have both RCR cars right there. The 21 and Austin Hill, if he just maintains position, he's going to go through into the championship 4, but his teammate, the number 2, it's in a must-win, right? And what a terrible situation to be in a must-win with your teammate right there in front of you. So some hard decisions have to be made, and I'm sure they've talked about this, but still, nothing can prepare you mentally for what mental gymnastics you have to go through on these restarts, and also trying to take care of your teammate, but also trying to go win this race, not knock him out of the playoffs if you can help it, right?
But remember, Sheldon Creed has already announced he will not be back at RCR next year. So
remember this, guys. This was Bristol Teammates Racing.
Yep.
Right? Two guys going at it. The two of Creed got into the 21 of Hill, and there was not peace and love in that team after that. I mean, there was a lot of anxiety and discontent, and now here they are. And, you know, this is a tough spot for everybody involved.
Yeah. I think that is also a good point by you, Rick, that the two is, you know, Creed's told everybody he's not coming back. RCR said he's not coming back, you know, and rumors about where he may be going. But that certainly changes the dynamic. If you're not returning to this team, we're going to take a look at this restart here with Kaz Growler, this wreck, and how this all got started. Just back in the pack, patience is out. Everybody's out of patience. Getting down into the corner, getting in the back of people, getting run over. These type of things are going to happen to several drivers as these, you know, late race cautions just pile up. But it presents opportunity for Creed. It presents opportunity for Allgaier and Sammy Smith.
Right now, Cole Custer in that 0-0 above the cut line, but only 3 points. Marty standing by with crew chief.
Let's chat with Jonathan Tony. First of all, you got enough batteries left in your calculator, and any concern with the volt issue from earlier?
No, I think we got that solved now. We figured out what that problem was. Yeah, just it's a stressful on the whole guy, I can tell you that. But yeah, I'm so proud of this team, so proud of Cole, where we've come from this year. No matter what, I'm proud. Hopefully we can get there and go to Phoenix and run for a championship.
Dave, I agree with Jonathan. You can feel the tension down here on pit road with the playoff drivers.
Jim Pullman knows his driver, Justin Allgaier, is in a tough spot. What way through do you see, Jim?
Well, I mean, it's not over till it's over. Obviously, we're not in the position we want to be in. That's tough on everybody right now, but you know, Martinsville's, anything can happen here. You know, late in the race, we saw it last year. You know, unfortunately, we got a couple guys that are in a must-win in front of us, so maybe that happens. I don't know. We'll see what goes on.
All right, what will you do? What will you do to make it to the championship four? Let's listen in to the 0-0 radio, what they might do.
27 spotter is, but I just let him know that we're going to have to go here. He comes across my nose, which he wasn't bad there, but he comes across my nose. I'm just going to have to punt him.
I like the tone in which it was delivered. So Jeb's fighting for the bottom because that's where he wants to be. And Cole said, listen, wasn't that bad, which it wasn't. But I appreciate it. It's kind of like, hey, man, look, this is the situation I'm in. This is like a pre-apology.
Just in case I do something, I'm going to apologize ahead of time.
Sammy Smith now outside row 2, right?
Sammy Smith outside row 2. Hill and Nemechek making up row 1. Nemechek on the inside. This time the inside line a little better starts, and right away John Hunter Nemechek clears. Austin Hill was looking to the inside, a little bumping and banging back there for third between the 18 and the 2. Sammy Smith trying to utilize those fresher tires.
Sammy's got to make this work. If he doesn't, he's in trouble. They're starting to line up on the bottom. Decision time. There he goes.
You're in. Take it, Jeff. Take
it.
Two's
loose.
Two's loose. Here comes the 18 to his inside. Sammy Smith trying to take third away.
You want to hold him out there long enough that the 7 gets there, though.
That was great communication from the spotter. Do not let the 2 get behind you, because if he does, he's going to repay you. Keep the 7 behind you.
And sliding up the track just a bit is Sammy Smith, but here comes the 7 of Allgaier.
The 2's going to beat Allgaier down into 1, almost. Creed's going to stay out there, but I think maybe off of turn 2. They're going to continue to race. Sammy Smith trying to drive away. Sammy's might need another yellow. He's got a fast race car, but he's also got 2 great cars in front of him in Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, the question is, can he catch him? And then when he does, how long does he mess around, right, Junior? Or is this a bump and run type situation? You get to the rear bumper of the 21, do you have to make a move? Allgaier continuing to battle Creed. Every point matters. Behind him, the 0-0 of Custer.
The problem is Allgaier goes through, it'll be a point. But then he also allows 0-0 through. to gain a point as well.
Oh, Allgaier up the racetrack. Got really slow right there. Custer's showing a lot of patience. I think he could have made it 3 wide.
Allgaier needs Hill to come back to him. Because right now, Allgaier and Hill separated by 3 points. If Allgaier makes the pass, which there's a lot of bumping and banging going on between Allgaier and Creed, it's a 2-point difference.
That's the jabs in the prize fight we talked about earlier.
Creed wants down.
Oh, he gets in the back of the 7.
And up the racetrack, the 7 goes, and the 00 will go by. Now, Allgaier knows what's in front of him. Four points separate Allgaier and Hill. Cole Custer +6. Now, if Allgaier comes back and repays Cole Custer and he loses spots, he could get by him.
Is it Cole Custer that he owes? I'm not sure exactly who got into who there on the back straightaway getting into turn 3.
Doesn't matter to Allgaier right now.
Just put the pressure on this 00. Try to put the pressure on these guys and make them make a mistake.
Creed's doing an incredible job on the outside. He is driving his heart out.
Allgaier continuing to add the pressure.
And if you're Custer, at some point, you've got to run out of patience and just got to get the 2 out of the way, because if you don't, the 7 is at your bumper and he can move you out of the way.
Austin Hill still running second. This was the bump that got into the back of Allgaier.
Yeah, the 2 tries to get down in here and just
right there
gets into him a little bit. They're still beating on each other over here off turn 4.
Creed now has cleared the 00, but doesn't come down the racetrack, and Custer is able to get to the inside as the caution comes out once again. This time Anthony Alfredo in the 78 brings the caution out. That's number 14.
Another caution and another position for Sammy Smith. Seems like every caution he gains 1 position.
Another opportunity on the restart.
And now in third, I believe he's going to be able to choose inside row 2. I think it's going to be his opportunity. And that is, we've seen it before. That is a prime bowling ball position right there. If you can move the leader and get the guy in second, you can get the 2-for-1 shot, be the leader off turn 2.
We have seen that before.
Yeah, we ask the question all the time, like what are they willing to do? We see them race all year long. So far today, we've not seen them do anything that they've not done before, right? They've raced each other with pretty decent respect. I mean, it's a short track and there's going to be trading paint, but now, like, presented with an opportunity, this is an 18 bowling ball down into turn 1. I mean, does anybody do that, right? To try to move themselves into the championship 4. What is okay, right? What is okay and what isn't? We've seen a lot of things happen on the Cup side, and certainly some wild things happen on the truck side and Xfinity side as well. But here we are with a late restart.
Yeah, under 12 laps to go. Let's reset how we've gotten here. Sam Mayer was locked in before the race started to the championship 4. John Hunter Nemechek with a decent finish in the first stage, locked himself up. There was some damage there to Sam Mayer, but again, he's already locked into that championship 4.
Then the 7 of Allgaier went on to win stage 1, scoring a very important 10 points.
Cole Custer, Lane Riggs, aggressive racing, contact, around goes Lane Riggs.
18 car, Sammy Smith winning stage 2, looking like the dominant car at the point of the day. And John Hunter Nemechek, through all of that, was able to lock himself in and advance.
So that means only 2 spots remain. The one of Sam Mayer spins Lane Riggs. And so now Riggs is wondering, what have I done to you folks out here?
Yeah, Cole Custer in the 00 gets a little bit of damage. I'm not sure it's hurt his car. But you see the hood buckled up in this quest to advance. Currently above the line, while the 16 of Chandler Smith finally overheated and wasn't able to continue.
One of the playoff drivers out. So now it's down to the 00 of Cole Custer, who is 6 points above Allgaier. Austin Hill currently 4 points above Allgaier. Allgaier running in that 5th spot as far as the championship is concerned, which is 1 spot out of where he wants to be.
You know, Dale, you mentioned it too when the 18 decided to pit. You were asking how many laps are we actually going to run. So think about John Hunter Nemechek. The last time he was on pit road, the current leader of the race, was at the end of stage 2. He's yet to pit in this final stage, and why we see all these cars running 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 3rd, John Hunter's leading. They've only run 61 green flag laps in this final stage.
Yeah, so you have to wonder if the 18 car stays out, is he actually in position to, you know, continue to control the front of this field. But as we get later into this race, 10 laps to go, we had a really wild one on our hands last season. Everybody remembers this moment. Brandon Jones gets sent around by his teammate Ty Gibbs down in turn 1 and 2.
Ty Gibbs goes on to win the race. He was already locked into the championship, but that eliminated Brandon Jones. And now, getting ready for the restart. Under 10 laps remain.
We've got 2 sets of teammates up here as well, just like last year.
And remember, Sammy Smith, Sheldon Creed, 2 drivers that have to win if they want to advance to the championship for next week.
And the last time Austin Hill started on the outside, he actually got the lead from John Hunter Nemechek.
It'll be 8 laps remaining. Austin Hill on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek on the inside. Sammy Smith on the inside of row 2, and Sheldon Creed on the outside. 8 laps to go from Martinsville.
Sammy Smith tried to go the inside, had to think about it, and it actually cost him a lot of time there. Now the 21.
Aggressively on the back bumper, the 20, he's going to miss the turn. John Hunter Nemechek up the racetrack, the 21 takes the lead. Here comes Sheldon Creed. Now 7 laps to go. Sammy Smith in the 18 to the inside.
Oh, we got cars out of control down the back straightaway, get spun around. Maya Snyder, big contact.
Pile up on the back stretch, caution comes back out.
Boy, what a mess. And believe it or not, that started in the top 6, 7 positions. Just was a chain reaction that went through the whole field on the corner exit of 2. A lot of check up and stack up, and you see the damage on several of these cars.
Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 45, Mike Snyder in the 19, Jeremy Clements, Brandon Jones.
Things got really physical, a lot of pushing and shoving.
Chad Fincham in the 08s. The field stopped because they can't get through with all the cars on the backstretch. Here's another look at what happened.
Yeah, so the 00, Cole Custer had to back up a little bit right there, and it just caused a little bit of a chain reaction. Cole was 3 wide and said, you know what, I'm not going to make contact with anybody here. He sort of checked up just a touch, and then a lot of cars getting in each other right there. Just everybody going for the same spot. Late in the race, you can't lift, you can't let off, you can't give an inch.
We go back and look at the restart. You mentioned the 18, right? So he's thinking inside of the 20. He tries to get back in line, and then he just really just bonsais the curb. Watch him hit this inside curb. Jumps right over the curb. That sends him straight up the racetrack. See the car spark and bottoming out. Lucky the 00 didn't hit him harder, and that really is what hurt the 18s 1 and 2.
And that's what caused the stack up too. I mean, behind him, that's what's caused all of that stack up that Junior just showed everybody. That was the beginning of it.
John Hunter Nemechek with a little bit of a push from the 20 sent him up the racetrack.
Yeah, Austin Hill did an incredible job right there, putting the pressure on the 20 on the entry to 3.
This would be a great view of what happens to the 18 right here. Oh, this is in 3 and 4. That's what we already saw. That's the 20 going up the hill.
So the 00 is 3 wide right here. Somebody's now on his door, and he has to get out of the gas here. His teammate, yep, he's just trying to survive. He's like, get me to the finish.
And these are teammates too, by the way.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of conflicts out there.
I wonder if the 18 would have just ran his normal line into one, he'd have had a lot of momentum off turn 2.
Yeah, hey, he's a young driver trying to win a race, trying to go to Phoenix to join the championship 4 with a chance to win a championship, and just a little too aggressive there.
Yeah, that low entry into 1. I mean, even if you do get the run on the guy in front of you, there's nothing good going to come of that angle on entry. But let's listen to Sammy Smith.
Yeah, I really f***ed that one up. Didn't anticipate that curve. I thought I was far enough left, but
yeah, all good, man. It happens. We'll be there. Got a long way to go here. Gonna have multiple restarts.
I think it's an accurate assessment on everyone's part. I think 6 to go. We'll probably be really close to overtime before this thing starts, but you would think a couple half-mile laps should be easy to finish, but I'm not sure it's going to be that straightforward.
Easy? Did you say easy?
You would think it would be. I mean, it's just 2 half-mile laps.
What do you think a driver like, let's say Sheldon Creed? What would Sheldon Creed do in this situation as he's running second right now on our scoring mark? Let's dial up Sheldon Creed and talk to him.
Hey, Sheldon, it's the NBC booth. You got a copy? Try one more time. Hey, Sheldon, you got a copy? It's the NBC booth.
Yep, I hear you guys.
Well, man, eventful to say the least. Martinsville's always are. Here you are in position, looking at a sprint to the finish. How's the day been and the outlook ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've had a decent day so far, running inside the top 10. Most of it here, but we have a nail biter here at the end. Been in the middle of this points battle. Not a whole lot of fun, but gonna do what we can here to try to get ourselves a win and into that championship 4.
Well, you mentioned that win. What is the strategy on these starts? Can you just try to roll the top? Or are you just waiting for the contact from behind? It seems like everybody's pushing and shoving.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of bounced back and forth on what my decisions have been. So, gonna see where we line up here, who's gonna be behind us, and I guess make my decision with that.
All right, man. Appreciate you taking the time, and good luck.
Thank you.
So that's a great question, about restart, everything that's coming up. And I think Austin Hill has a very difficult decision to make. We've seen him get the lead from the outside. And so you would think, well, then you should restart on the outside. But once you do that, now you have exposed the left side of your car to damage because of the guy underneath you moving you up the racetrack and running you out of the groove. This is a very difficult decision. And if you're Austin Hill, what you got to be willing to do, I think, is take the bottom, but don't run the bottom when you get to 1. You got to use the guy up, get him up the racetrack in 2. You can't do it on corner entry because if you do, you open the bottom up to the guy behind you getting you. But it is an opportunity to go win a championship. And that's not dirty racing. That's Martinsville racing. I'm not saying wreck a guy, but running it into out of the groove on a restart, that's pretty acceptable for Martinsville.
Well, let's hear from the crew chief of the 21. Marty's there.
Let's chat with Mike Shiplett, filling in for Andy Street this weekend. Boy, you guys had not a good handling race car early on. How did you guys get into this position, Mike?
We just kept working on the car all day. The guys made some good pit stops. Austin Hill's done a great job driving, and we're just going to get this Chevy Camaro to the end here and see which one of the RCR cars is the best one at the end.
So with teammates beside you potentially on this restart, what's fair, what's not fair?
Hey, they're both racers, and they're going to race 100%, and we're going to find out here in 6 more laps, probably about 3 laps of green.
There you go. Austin Hill in the lead right now, Kim.
Well, Marty, Sammy Smith has led 147 laps today. Crew Chief Jeff Mendering calling the shots. Assess your chances. I know Sammy didn't get the restart last time he wanted. What does he need to do here?
I wish we were 3rd instead of 4th, but I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bumpers, a lot of people moving cars around. Just proud of our team and the car we brought here and the job Sammy's done today. We're definitely not out of this thing by any means. It's going to be exciting, and I'm sure Sammy's going to do whatever it takes to get through. So.
Love the optimism of this team.
Well, Sammy Smith, he has to win. Sheldon Creed has to win if they want to make it to the championship 4. Points as they run. So you see Sammy Smith and Creed down there 43, 65 points. They're must-win situations. They're both in a position where if they're aggressive, they potentially could get that win. But you look at Austin Hill, Custer, and Allgaier, all very close right now on points. If someone below the cut line is able to get that win, it will come down to one more position. The restart's coming up.
Martinsville is known for its jaw-dropping moments.
Yeah, baby. Come on, come on. Green flag in the air, and we're racing at Martinsville Speedway.
Trouble in turn 3. Around goes the 20.
They're just freaking annihilated me.
It takes him out.
What the hell is his problem? Oh, he just wrecked us. He definitely wrecked me.
Tempers are flaring.
Chase him, beat him down. They're banging, keep coming.
And Harvick is going to be out of the playoffs.
Chastain's handling up the racetrack.
Here comes Christopher Bell. He'll score the win for the back cross Chastain. Wide open around the wall.
You made the transfer. You made the transfer, man. Holy cow.
That's tomorrow, the Cup Series. What will they do to make it to that championship 4? 2 o'clock on NBC. Make sure to join us as it's the elimination race. Only 2 spots available for 6 drivers. So what will they do? And we'll wrap it all up with NASCAR America Post Race at 6 o'clock. That'll stream live on Peacock.
Well, we're getting a little bit of a precursor today of what's on the line. I mean, look at the playoff cars 1 through 5 with Custer in 7th. We listened in to the 21 radio of Austin Hill.
Out there, he moved to 20, and the 2 moved to 7, so we're in trouble, I'm afraid. We'll see what happens here. Got to clear them all.
I hope so.
I think that was RC to spotter Derek Nealon explaining that between the 2 and the 21, they've kind of made contact with both cars in the row behind them. So much like that entire highlight we just saw of all the Cup races, I would expect the same right here in the finish of this Xfinity Series race.
Yeah, it's starting to get more and more physical. And the drivers know what's at stake, but they're also driving cars on old tires, right? Cycles on tires. Now we stopped with the red flag, and these old tires are going to be cool. The temperature's dropping on the racetrack and out there a little bit. Performance in braking zones, performance on throttle, corner exit, none of that stuff's going to be as good as it's been all day long. Everything's going to be bad, right? And you're going to have to drive your car in there and challenge the driver on the outside of you and potentially make a lot of contact. So it's going to get pretty rough.
You see Mayer and Nemechek advanced, Hill leading, and it is, I mean, so close. Custer, Allgaier. Sammy Smith is still in the picture. There's tiebreakers involved. Cleanup continues. Let's see if we can dial up the driver of the 18, Sammy Smith. We've talked to him earlier before the race started. Hey, Sammy, it's the NBC booth again. You got a copy?
Sounds like they're firing the engines up right now.
Well, I think a lot of guys just cycle the engine to bring the temperature down, and then they also may roll the car forward to be able to get. So you got these hot brake calipers with the pads, right? And so you sit there on that rotor and cook it. So you want to roll forward a little bit and change, kind of cycle the heat on the rotor.
Let's try Sammy again here. Hey, Sammy, it's the NBC booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you guys.
Well, man, we talked to you at the start, and it's looked good. 147 laps led. I know it's been an absolute brawl getting back through traffic here, but now you're in second row, 6 to go. What you thinking?
Yeah, I felt like we were in a pretty good position there that last restart, and I thought I was going to have enough momentum to get inside of the 20 there and just clip the curve and kind of screwed myself a little bit. But, you know, we got another shot at it here, and going to try to make it happen.
Talk about that. Everything on the line, teammates in front of you, a team outside you. Just how much kind of goes through your head on the restarts, and how much of it is just instinct? You have to react to the car in front of you.
Yeah, I think, I hit it pretty hard to where it shot me up the track. So once I saw I was going to hit it, I just checked up so I didn't wreck myself. But, yeah, probably should have just pushed him and did what the 21 did to him and did 3, and probably would have been in a better position. But can't take it back. Just got to look forward and see what we got.
Well, I've been coming here for many decades, and I'll assure you at least have one more, if not 2, 3, 4. There's no telling how many more shots you'll have at this.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a dogfight till the end, and we'll keep digging.
All right, man. Appreciate you taking the time. You put a show on for the fans. Good luck in these final 6.
Thank you.
All right, let's get a little anticipation of what we're about to see. We'll start with Kim in the 18.
Well, Rick, we know what making the championship 4 means for the drivers, but what about the team, specifically this Joe Gibbs Racing team? We talked about it at the top of our broadcast, but this was the team that Brandon Jones was with last year. They called it deja vu, what they're going through this weekend. Last year, they won the pole. They won a stage. They were leading on the last lap before getting pushed out of the way to make it to the championship 4. This weekend with their driver, Sammy Smith, this year, they won the pole. They won a stage. Now they're finding themselves in a position to strike and get the win. They called, if winning this race gets them to the championship 4, complete redemption for this team and what happened last year, Dave.
Kim, we heard Jim Pullman talk about it earlier for Justin Allgaier. Anything can happen. This is Martinsville. A lot could still happen here. And he was told, heads up in front of you. Now, that was when he had 4 guys in front of him. He's still got 2 in front of him that have to win. They're going to be all over each other. So heads up, Justin.
Dave, what would you be willing to do to win a championship? Sheldon Creed was asked that earlier this week, and he said, I would be willing to move someone in a, quote, respectful way. Well, the person he may need to move, his teammate, Austin Hill. We saw a moment ago. They've already had run-ins so far this year. But keep this in mind. Sheldon Creed will not be racing at Richard Childress Racing next year. Austin Hill will no longer be his teammate. Sheldon Creed, Rick, has never won an Xfinity Series race. A walk-off win today could mean a ticket to the championship 4 and maybe a very mad teammate if he knocks him out of the championship 4.
Well, a mad teammate, but it could be teammates that advance for Richard Childress from the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, so this last restart, while we're under red, let's revisit it. Just from a matter of who's mad at who, right? Who feels like they owe somebody something? You see the 18 on the bottom. He hits the curb, up the racetrack he goes. A lot of contact in the back. Right now, here's the 21 into the 20. Moves him up the racetrack. So we know the 20's upset. Then watch this contact. 3 wide, the 7 into the 20. Cole Custer into the 7. So there's a lot of what race car drivers do is they process, what is it I need to do? And who just did what to me? Because all that they did was write a permission slip. A guy gets into the side of me late in a race and I get another restart and he's on the outside of me. He just gave me a permission slip to move him out of the way he moved me out of the way. Every one of those guys remembers what happens on that restart and who they're willing to pay back.
It is going to be a sprint to the finish here at Martinsville. So much on the line for these drivers. A chance at their hopes and dreams. That championship out in front of them.
Weather's usually nice and cool. Tempers are nice and hot, and anything can and will happen.
Close quarters racing. It's a place where people can take shots at you. Everybody's beating and banging, and the respect level kind of goes out the window.
There's a lot of pressure with it being a cutoff race.
The championship 4 lies ahead, 4 seats, 1 taken, 3 left for 7 drivers to fight it out at Martinsville Speedway.
You guys are doing whatever it takes to make it to the Final 4.
All the aggression, fights, and everything that goes on, because no one plays nice anymore when you make it to Martinsville.
And definitely no one is going to play nice with only 5 laps still remaining in this one. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. It's a dead on tools 250. As I mentioned, when they come back around right now, under a red flag condition, when they come back around, it'll be 5 laps remaining. So it will be a sprint to the finish.
And cars sitting like this, Dale did a nice job explaining what can happen to the brakes, but cars always seem to fire different, right? These are hot, worn-out tires now they've sat here and cooled. Which car does that suit best, right? It will definitely drive different. I'm not saying good or bad, but I don't feel it'll be the same change for everyone. So it'll be really interesting to see who fires off the best when this restarts. Let's listen in to the 00.
But I've been sitting here trying to think of something inspirational to say. I don't guess I really can. So I'm just going to tell you, no matter what, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of this team, and we've come a long, long way this year. So let's go finish this thing off so we can go race in Phoenix.
Yep, 10-4. We did everything we can do today. Just got to finish it off.
Look, even with as long as this red flag is, there's not enough time to explain all the different scenarios because there's so many potential winners, right? Austin Hill currently leads. Creed wins. It changes completely, right? The only one that doesn't really change winning would be Nemechek, but then you have Sammy Smith there and right there that could win and change the complexion of this. So I agree with the 00 crew chief, right? Not inspirational and not really sure what to tell you other than forward is better than backwards. Get as many points as you can. Don't worry about a point here or a point there. Assume you need them all, and let's see where this shakes out.
You mentioned the brakes, you know, what happens with the heat. Well, I want to add the driver to that. I mean, this has been a 20-minute red flag. It is not normal heat today in Martinsville. It's in the mid-80s, and sitting in a race car at Martinsville with the transmission heat, the rear end heat, the engine heat, the brake heat, all of that radiates through the car. And for 20 minutes, you can't sit there with the fan on. You already heard Cole Custer complaining about the possibility of having an alternator issue. The last thing you can do is sit there and run the fan circulating air through your helmet. And so the drivers are extremely uncomfortable at the moment. And you add the pressure of trying to make the playoffs to that. And I think this is the time, Steve, that communication, even if you're talking about the football score or whatever, just communication to the driver to let him know he's not out there by himself.
I agree, right? You can't think he's the only one with a oar in his hand rowing this ship along. Now, while he's going to have to do the heavy lifting here, you know, this is the culmination of an entire season, a culmination of a playoff run.
You guys talked about the choose and picking the inside versus the outside. And now look at this racetrack down here on the back straightaway, but off into turn 3 and 4. The speedy dry, the oil laid down on the track is right where those right side tires are going to run if you are on the bottom of the racetrack. Now, to Jeff's point, we don't expect them to be on the bottom of the racetrack. That guy on the inside now has almost a built-in excuse for using everybody up down here in this corner. And it ain't going to stick. You know, you're going to go down there and you're going to slide through that and up the racetrack you go. So this could end poorly for, it could be a problem for you on the inside. Look at that speedy dry. It's everywhere. Covered this racetrack.
And on the exit of the corners, I feel like the left side tires could be on the outside car on the exit of the corner. So it'll be a challenge for both.
Yeah. It's just going to be a completely different racetrack when these drivers, they haven't seen it. So when they fire up and roll off, it's nice and clean in 1 and 2. They got some stuff on the back straightaway. But when they get to turn 3 and see what's in store for them on this final restart or this restart that's coming up, might not be the last. And certainly judging by this racetrack and how much speedy dry and oil is on it, we got some built-in cautions coming.
And that's why it's taking so long to clean up. So much fluid was put down on the racetrack, and so they're working diligently. you look back on the number of cautions over the last 7 years, or excuse me, 7 races that they've been racing here since 2020. And today, 15 cautions. Look back April of 2022, the only race over the last 7 races that has had more cautions than today here at Martinsville. Dave?
Wow, that's a big number. Let's check in with Ben Bayshore. He is crew chief for John Hunter Nemechek, who locked in earlier. So I'm wondering, with this 20-minute delay, are you thinking about Phoenix? Or are you thinking about what can he still do here? What are you thinking about?
Just trying to talk through the scenarios on the restart here of if certain cars pick top or certain cars pick bottom, where should we pick? Trying to give John Hunter some information on who's got to win, the point situation, and just try to guess what's going to happen here, which probably something that we don't even conceive of is going to happen. So I expect to get pretty crazy here when we go back green.
What kind of a relief is it to you, though, that you are through and that you don't have to deal with the reality of what might happen here?
Yeah, a big relief. We gave up our track position early to do it, which kind of made it a long day towards the middle of the race, but took a gamble. We're off sequence on tires, so fortunate to be able to hang on up front with these sort of rapid fire cautions and keeping the tires cool kind of bailed us out on that. So hopefully we come out of here with the car in one piece and we'll go to Phoenix and race them from there.
Well, yeah, there is that. They would like the 20 to come home in one piece, right?
Smile there on the crew chief's face. The reason why all of this fluid is down is because of this accident that happened on the backstretch, the big pileup. Multiple cars involved and a lot of fluid put down.
This is our second chance moment. I think we can make something out of it.
Without a win, there was no tomorrow for Sam Mayer.
Nice work, homie. Win, and we're in.
We can go on and do great things because of this win.
He wins his way to the championship 4.
This has been a big year for Sam Mayer, and he has had some big step-up moments.
Oh, my God, boys.
We won on an oval. Woo!
What do you say we go race for a championship in Phoenix, baby?
Sam Mayer, what a last few races it has been, but Marty, not the ending that he was looking for today.
Yeah, thank goodness they have that Miami win in the bank, already focused on the championship 4 at Phoenix next week. Where would you begin to describe this day for you and the one team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the qualifying effort wasn't very good yesterday, so that already put us behind, and then I got damage under caution because I'm kind of an idiot, but we'll learn from it. I mean, I learned a lot about myself and my team today, that we can fight through adversity really easily. And I mean, we were sitting P15, top 15 with a race car that shouldn't have been rolling still. So we, our accelerator Camaro was fast today. We just couldn't get the right track position with the right amount of tire. The tire fall off, and the package we had here today was a ton of fun to drive. It was beating and banging, getting runs up off the corner. It was a lot of fun, but we were just a little bit short. But having the Miami win feels really good because I can put a smile on my face and go to Phoenix next week.
You mentioned running into that car under caution. You kind of explained to me how it happened. Explain to the folks at home.
Yeah, like what it looked like is because I was trying to look ahead, but the safety crew's like cut in front of everybody trying to get up to the wreck, and everyone just kind of checked up, and I was coming with a run under caution. But you'll have that. But yeah, it's just part of making mistakes, and it's good to make them this week and not next week.
How much of this week was your focus on Phoenix versus being ready for Martinsville?
Yeah, we probably put about an hour and a half into Martinsville this weekend. Obviously, Marty tried to build a car as fast as Xfinity 10G, but our brain's already in Phoenix. We're ready to go to the desert.
And they will race for a championship next Saturday in Phoenix, Rick.
Yeah, the points, look how tight they are with, again, Austin Hill out front, scored as the leader, and then Custer and Allgaier separated by just 2 points, Steve.
Let's see if we can dial up Cole. Hey, Cole, it's the NBC booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Man, things are tight. A lot on the line. 6 to go. How aware do you want to be of the situation, or are you just trying to get every position here on the restart?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get all we can get here. You know, we've had a good Awesome Ford Mustang all day. Just got to get the trap position here. You know, obviously it's going to be really, you don't even know what to expect on this restart. You know, everybody's going to be beating and banging, and you hope that you can just the seats part for you a little bit. But overall, I think we've done a great job today controlling what we can control with the stages and putting ourselves in the right spot. Just got to hope it all turns out right.
All right, well, we're here. You guys are getting going, so we'll let you be, man. Good luck on this.
Thank you.
Firing the engines, and they'll run with the track cleaning crew around the track once the cars roll. Again, it is going to be a sprint. Right now, 6 to go. When they come back around, it'll be 5.
It's going to be important. You know, Dale, we've sat here and kind of looked at where they put the speedy drive. I'm sure the spotters are explaining it to the drivers, but I'm sure you drivers yourself, you want to see this, you know, really take in what the track looks like, the condition it's in. You don't want to see the first time at speed.
Yeah, they're all going to be a bit surprised, maybe some disappointed when they see what's down here in turn 3 and 4.
I think if you're Allgaier, you love it, right? He's 2 points back. He needs to make something happen. I think that if you're him, you go down there, you're like, heck yeah, there's a lot of speedy drive down here. Maybe I can take advantage of it. If you're Austin Hill leading the race, I don't think it's something you wanted to see.
Over 28 minutes of a red flag, so they've been sitting there for almost a half an hour. Tires cooled off quite a bit, obviously, but the counter to that is the speedy dry that's all around the racetrack.
Yeah, brakes have cooled off, tires have cooled off, speedy dry on the racetrack. I'm not sure tempers have cooled off.
The field finally getting a look at this racetrack and what has gone on since they were sitting in turn 1. Let's listen into Allgaier's radio.
So here's what I think is going to happen, just based upon a lot of history. A dozen times up here with 2 hardheads on the front row get right where they are right now, and they wash each other up, and the 20 goes underneath the 21 on the bottom. Based upon where we are, and that's what happens, I'd line up behind the 20 and stay right on them and go with them.
Copy.
So that's Eddie DeHaan, the spotter for Justin Allgaier.
It's going to be very interesting for me to see where John Hunter chooses. For him, it would be inside row 2. For Joe Gibbs Racing, it would be outside row 2. It gives Sammy Smith the bottom. You know, you're not really giving him a position, you're not waving him by, but you're giving Sammy Smith the best chance to win this race.
I'm interested to see where Austin Hill lines up. I think that's the first decision that has to be made, right? And then if you're Creed, if Austin Hill picks the bottom and you're Sheldon Creed and he picks the bottom, Austin Hill better hang on getting into 1, because there would be only one reason that Sheldon Creed would pick behind his teammate, and that would be to move him as soon as he got to the corner. If the 21 picks the bottom and Creed goes to the top, then Creed's just simply going to try to outrun him. The first, that decision that Hill makes will force everyone else to make their decision.
Safety vehicles still on the track. We're a ways away from that decision. They're cleaning up just past the choose cone now. Still see the wreckers and different vehicles working their way around. The reason for, I'm sure, this caution is the full moon. Is that right, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. Every time we get this, we know what happens. Race car drivers on edge anyway. You get that full moon for some reason. It seems that always, for some reason, seems to get even worse. Let's listen to what Sammy Smith and his guys are talking about.
It still kind of looks full wet.
It's not good. I can tell you that. It's not like, I think they just got tired of trying to work it because they couldn't get it picked up.
Holy cow. Either it's just really dark or it's just...
So I will say this, guys. Drivers are never happy with the track cleanup. I mean, almost never do they say, hey, how's the track? And they're like, yeah, it's great, I love it, right after something like this. So it's a difficult evaluation for a driver because oil does change the color of the racetrack. You can't tell sometimes if it's wet or if it's just stained the racetrack.
Trying to pick up all the Speedy Dry. You see the jet dryers out there that are pushing that Speedy Dry off.
And NASCAR's trying to do the best thing it can, and that's take time to make sure that they have this track as close to good as it possibly can be. But at some point, I mean, we've been under red flag for a long time. At some point, we've just got to go and get this race back underway.
Yeah, with the cleanup continuing, it looks like we could end up being in overtime. So I think that's the direction we're headed. There are 4 laps still to go before the distance we thought. So it's going to be overtime. We will be going at overtime. And again, the way the overtime rules work, you take the green flag. If they get back around, if the leader takes the white flag, then the next flag ends the race. If there's a caution before the leader takes the white flag, they'll try again.
I'd be working those tires in, you know. I'd be trying to make sure that, not for heat or anything like that, but like you sit under caution and any kind of debris or rubber or whatever you pick up, it's now stuck to the tire, cooled off, and make sure those things are as clean as they possibly can be. Throttle it up a little bit, spin the rear tires, get those things good, sticky, and ready to go.
Brakes as well. I want to get heat in my brakes so that way when I drive into turn 1, they're hot, they're ready to go. You would think that cooler brakes are what you want, but it's not. These brakes are designed to operate with high heat. You need to drive that heat into them right now.
Any predictions? Can you make a prediction? What's going to happen with, especially to start off with the RCR cars?
Then we're going to do this again. I think there's no way we're going to see a clean lap here.
I don't know that any of us would get it right, you know. The crew chief said himself, like, what we went through all the scenarios, and what's going to happen is probably something we haven't thought of.
Watching Richard Childress there, can you imagine how many races he's watched and the things that he's seen through his career as a driver, also as an owner? Won championships with your dad. He's done a great job of finding a way to stay relevant as the sport has changed around him. He has changed with it. He's done a great job as a car owner for a long time, and he really likes Austin Hill, really appreciates him, feels like he can be with this company for a long time, and this is a chance for Austin Hill to get to Phoenix with a chance to win a championship. But Richard's seen enough things go bad. He knows it is nowhere near being done.
Track cleanup crews now focusing their attention on the backstretch.
Lights are bright. And when they put lights at this place, it truly became like America's short track. It's like every Saturday night short track all across the country.
Marty, what about Cole Custer?
Rick, we've talked about the voltage issue for the 00. Is there a further problem? Listen to the radio just now.
260 here, but when I tried to cool it down, like everything in the car shut off, like it had no power. It turned right back on, but made me a little nervous. I guess the guy just run it hot or what?
So Steve, he says the voltage is jumping all over the place on the dash for Cole Custer. They've told him a couple of times, turn everything off in the car you can. All your driver aids, turn everything off. Let's make sure that it can make it to the end. But, you know, this should be an overtime finish, hopefully just one for the 00 team. But are you concerned if you're Jonathan Toney?
Well, absolutely, I'm concerned. I mean, you can see the concern on his face. He's shaking his head in that lower area, in that lower camera. Jonathan Toney is the one kind of blocked out, the second in line on the bottom. At this point, I would make sure, hey, listen, I know it's running hot. Don't worry about cycling the engine. Don't worry about shutting it off. We've seen people lose positions, you know, because the car doesn't refire. We can't afford that. Now it's all about just getting this thing to the finish.
Some teams switch the gauges so you can actually turn the gauges off in case there is a short in the gauge or something. And if they have the ability to do that, I'd just say, hey, just turn them off. Like, there's no need in us looking at them anymore. There's nothing they're going to do about it.
And we've heard drivers say, I'm hearing something, I'm feeling something. Is this driver being a little bit nervous too? knowing that he's only 3 points above the cut line?
Well, there's that, but I mean, he's clearly seeing an issue in the gauges, and the car clearly cut off, so he's not making any of that up.
All right, Jeff, coming to the choose, you want to know what Austin Hill's going to do with this 21 car.
Hill and Creed will be making the decision right here.
Hill's going to the bottom, Creed to the top.
RCR cars will be side by side for the restart. The 20 of John Hunter Nemechek will restart on the inside.
Well, Sammy Smith chooses the bottom.
Basically took away the strategy the 7 was hoping to utilize on this restart. So that forces Allgaier to the top of the racetrack in row 2. Cole Custer now lining up 6th.
And remember the fight Creed put up on the outside during the green flag run a few runs ago. He did a great job on the outside.
They're trying to get the tires cleaned off. Brakes are warmed up. Put a little heat in the tires. A shot to make it into the championship 4. It's overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. Hill on the inside, Creed on the outside. Back to the gas they go. Way up the racetrack goes Hill. Creed into the back of the 21. He doesn't push him up high enough, but here he comes. He gets to the inside. The white flag's in the air. One more time around. The 7 got into the wall. Now Creed pushing the 21 up the racetrack. They're side by side. Creed has to win to make it into the championship 4. He's never won in the Xfinity Series. They smoked the tires. Here comes the 7. Contact made. The 7 of Allgaier on the inside. Creed. Allgaier's going to win in Martinsville. And they wreck on the front stretch. Big contact.
Boys, you done right. Let's go! That is my guys. Yeah!
The 7 winning, advancing to the championship 4. The way the points are when they win across the line, Cole Custer is going to advance, and Austin Hill will not. We'll wait to see the official scores.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge. We have to get the official lineup. What we do know is Allgaier won. So the 1 of Mayer, the 20 of John Hunter, and the 7 of Allgaier with the win will advance. The 4th position is going to have to be figured out with scoring.
Yeah, the 0-0, Cole Custer, he is wrecked on the front stretch just past the start-finish line. You see him climbing out now as there's fire under the hood. We'll have to wait to see what the official scoring is. But preliminary, Cole Custer puts out a hand in the air. Creed moves the 21, and Allgaier gets to the inside of Creed. A drag race to the finish line, and Allgaier gets the win. Richard Childress, I don't know if he can believe what just happened. Last 2 laps.
The 21 spins his tires, doesn't get a great start, goes in side by side with the 2 behind him. The 20 slides up. That allows the 7 clear into 3rd by himself.
And now Creed is into the back bumper of the 21 car. Gets him sideways. Now he drives underneath him. Now he's alongside the 7 into the back of the 2 of Creed.
Watch the 7 right here into the outside wall. That bends the right front wheel on the 7, so he's wounded. Out in front of him, the 2 into the back of the 21. They're going to go down the back straightaway. I think Austin Hill's trying to get back behind the 2. He wants to lift here, get back behind the 2, probably get right back in the back bumper. Right there he does. He gets spun around. The rest of the field comes through.
2 RCR cars battling hard allowed the 7 of Allgaier to win this race.
And the crash behind him. You see Allgaier nosing out ahead of the 2-car. Sammy Smith in third, but the crash behind him, man, there was a lot of hard hits for a lot of drivers back there.
So the question now becomes, how is it scored? We saw the 7 clearly take the checkered flag under a green flag condition. At some point, the yellow came out where there were cars still short of the start-finish line. So those will be frozen. Then they have to untangle who was in the wreck. The reason Custer on the timing screen looks okay is because he backed his car across the start-finish line, triggering that lap. But that doesn't by no means means that that's official. NASCAR's now going to have to untangle all this and figure out all the points.
See Austin Hill disappointed. He talked to us this week about having to, come here many times in the Truck Series and in the Xfinity Series and walk away disappointed, and again falls short with an opportunity to get into the Championship 4.
There's Sheldon Creed,
and Sheldon
wondering how close he came to being in the Championship 4 and getting his first Xfinity Series win, as Allgaier's about ready to climb out of the hatch.
Yeah, Sheldon's, they was all, the gloves were off. Everything was on the table at that point for both those drivers.
Helmet in the air, painted by Dodder Harper. And Allgaier's going to race for a championship. Dave's down there with him.
Could you even have imagined it with where you sat with just a couple laps to go, Justin?
No. Headed on Jim Pullman. Both of those guys kept telling me it's not over. And thank God it's so good. You fans that came here today, coming to the start-finish line, I don't think I saw a single person sitting down. And I just was hanging on and trying to go as fast as I can. I hope everybody that crashed on the front straightaway is all right. But, man, this Hellman's car has been lights out all year. It's been as fast as Xfinity 10G for sure. I cannot say enough about the Hendrick Engine Shop, everybody at Chevrolet, all of our partners, Hellman's, everybody at Unilever, Brand Professional Agriculture, Hello Water. We got a shot at going for a championship in Phoenix. And my wife drove in today. My daughter's last softball game was this afternoon. And she said, she got to watch the first. I got to watch the first one, and she decided to come here to be by my side, and there's nothing like it. So this is an emotional one. I've wanted to win at Martinsville for a long time, and man, I've been on the other end of that too many times. And to be able to come out of here tonight with a win and have a shot at a championship next week, Jim Pullman, what an incredible crew chief. He's done an amazing job. Pit crew was lights out. Heck, I don't even know who else to thank right now. This is incredible. Fans.
Yeah, baby, we going to Phoenix.
Woo! With another shot at the championship, Justin Allgaier wins today in unbelievable fashion.
And it's hitting Allgaier right now how big of a moment this is in his career. At 37 years old, he's got a championship that he's going to be able to fight for. There's wife with him.
Hey, there, cheers. So Justin Allgaier spilling over as he gets
a crazy finish here at Martinsville, but it was Allgaier who locked himself into the championship 4. We'll clean up the finish and find out who's the championship 4 when we come back. Still waiting on NASCAR's official call as for where Austin Hill and Cole Custer ended up to decide that last spot in the championship 4. But we do know that it was the two of Sheldon Creed who came oh so close to getting not only his first Xfinity Series win, but a berth in the championship for it, but it wasn't to be tonight, Marty.
Rick, let's chat with him now. You said earlier this week you would be willing to move someone, but in a respectful way. Let's talk about the move on your teammate. Was it respectful and was it fair, the multiple moves you made on him?
I don't know if it's fair, right? I don't like racing that way, and that seems to be the way that this race always plays out. I, beat him on the restart here and gave him plenty of room. He just throttles up into my door there, and then had my opportunity to push him up off the bottom here. I got in the oil here, and the top rolled, pretty decent, and then did it again into one. Thought we had it there coming to the checkered, but yeah, I don't know. Not proud of racing like that, but I shot at a championship 4. I didn't blast him. He's still with me. I drug right here to keep him next to me, and then we raced pretty hard here, and then I don't know who gets him here, the 20. I don't know. I feel like I played pretty fair for this situation, and he's going to be mad, but it's for a championship 4 spot, and I wanted to fight for my guys all the way to the end.
Were you solely worried about your team, or did it cross your mind at all that might knock him out of the championship 4 as well?
Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to guarantee myself a win, I do what Ty did last year, and I spin him out into 1, right? And then I'm not worried about him at all, but I move him up off the bottom, enough for him to have a fighting shot here. I'm watching the replay again, and I mean, he has a fighting shot here. I can't control the 20 spinning him out in 3 and 4, so just proud of everyone. I wanted to fight for my guys all the way to the end and give them a chance at a championship here, and just so thankful for Chevrolet, Wheel, and everyone at RCR for my time here. It's been a learning 2 years, and man, just frustrating to go out like that, but proud of everyone.
Dave, owning up to it, they did everything he could. Sheldon did everything he could to try and get the 2 team into the championship 4.
Well, and Austin Hill the same, tried to get his team in. It did not work out. Walk us through that final restart.
I spun the tires a little bit, and I overdrove my entry into 1 because I knew the 20 went to go low, and I didn't know for sure if he was on the inside. My spotter said he had to run, and then he didn't. So it wasn't cool of me to do what I did into 1, like driving him up the racetrack, but I still kind of stayed off of him. Then he just did not give me a chance getting into 3, and then he didn't give me a chance getting into 1, just shoved me up the racetrack. I know he's in a must-win situation, but still, man, just uncalled for that to happen, and then neither of the RCR guys make it to the Final 4. It's just frustrating. Pretty excited for him to go to his next adventure over at Gibbs, and I don't have to put up with him no more. I can have Jesse Love as my teammate. Hopefully he races me better, races me cleaner. Like right there in the middle of 3 and 4, I don't know what he was doing. He like parked it in the middle of the corner, and obviously I blew the radiator right then and had no power off the corner, so just ridiculous.
All right, Austin Hill not advancing to the championship 4, Kim.
And Dave, as we talk about teammates frustrated with each other, Sammy Smith, we heard your frustration on the radio with teammate John Hunter. He had already clinched a spot. Walk me through the closing laps and what you felt like he should have done to help you.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of knew. They were telling me he wasn't going to make any enemies, and I asked him to choose the top if he wasn't going to do that, and I had a good run on him, and then he went to go block me next week, down to the bottom. So, he didn't want to make any enemies, but I'm very frustrated right now, and he definitely made one. So I'm not going to let that one go, and we'll see how it goes.
So does this carry over to Phoenix for you?
I mean, I wouldn't carry it over. I just I wish he would have raced me with more respect, and knowing if he's not going to do anything. I mean, I wasn't planning on wrecking him. I was going to move him like, the 2 and 21 did, but I don't understand. So just thanks to Powerflying J, TMC, Allstate Peterbilt Group, Pringles for being on the car this weekend, and we'll move on to Phoenix.
With how strong your day was leading 147 laps, how do you come to terms with not making the championship 4?
Very frustrating, because I think we did everything right. It's just kind of typical for this race for what it brings, and we'll just have to move on next week.
You saw how visibly frustrated Sammy Smith was with his teammate. We'll see again if that carries over into Phoenix next week, where John Hunter will run for a championship.
And Kim, NASCAR has announced it. The championship 4 is now set. So race winners Sam Mayer and the 7 of Justin Allgaier. And then points for John Hunter Nemechek. And it was Cole Custer who got the final spot in the championship for those 4 drivers next Saturday at Phoenix at 6:30 on USA will fight for their first ever Xfinity Series title.
Yeah, 4 very deserving drivers. You see the wins across the bottom. I mean, these 4 drivers have won a ton of races. You know, I'm sure people will try to pick out a favorite, but I think after seeing what we saw here tonight and really what this playoffs had in store for us all the way up to now, I'm not sure if we know who's going to show up with the best car and the best opportunity.
You know, Junior Motorsports has 2 chances. John Hunter Nemechek going cup racing next year. See what he can do. Cole Custer, we got a great championship 4 battle coming.
Let's watch the replay of this restart on board at 00 of Cole Custer, looking off the nose of that car. They get down in the corner here. This is coming to the finish. Oh! Look at the hits that Cole has to take, and that what he did. You know, that wasn't even the hardest. I think on one particular replay, Jeb Burton had insane contact with the inside wall, but Marty's caught up with Cole, and guy who's locked him in to race for a championship, Marty.
He is going to be in the championship 4. Man, you know, that looked like a crazy replay. First of all, are you okay? And walk me through the chaos of that overtime restart.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Martinsville. Everybody's just desperate, you know. I mean, it's just one of those deals. You know, the 18's trying to get his way in, the 2's trying to get his way in, and everybody's just trying to get all they can get. And we had nowhere to go. You know, the 21 got spun, and I had nowhere to go. And we all stopped there, and I saw Austin trying to fire up his car, and I was like, I got to get going here. And so I put it in reverse and tried to get across the line. Sorry, Doug Yates, that we were not easy on his engine today, but luckily he built some great engines that are very durable and ran great today. And I just can't thank all my guys enough. I mean, they've worked so hard and just gotten better and better and better throughout the year. And I'm so glad this is over. I mean, that was so, we're under that red flag. My heart was beating out of my chest, just wondering what was going to happen. And but it's just amazing to be in the Final 4 and have a shot at it. Can't thank Tony Stewart, Gene Haas, Haas Automation, Ford Performance, Roush Yates Engines, everybody who keeps this, everybody at the shop. I mean, it's just been awesome getting this deal better and better and better. And they'll have one coming. I think we'll have something for them at Phoenix.
You had the voltage issue and the car shut off on you under caution before you had the overtime restart. But as you're sitting under red also with that, is that something you're anticipating, that level of chaos?
No, you know, I mean, you're just hoping it goes smooth, you know, and at the start of the race, we were overheating the motor, and then the volts started going down, and then the radio 1 went out under that red flag, so we had to switch to radio 2, and, you know, just a lot of little things that, you know, get your heart rate up a little bit, but we were able to stay calm and just do what we needed to do and get to the Final 4, but I'm really proud of the day we put together and got really good stage points, came from behind, and still got in.
They will race for a championship next Saturday, Rick. And remember, Phoenix in the spring, Cole Custer was the man on the pole.
And now the celebration for Allgaier and family will head to Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane. Tomorrow, the Cup Series takes its turn to find out who the championship 4 will be. 2 o'clock on NBC. Make sure to join us. Who is going to join Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson? Those 2 are already locked in, so 2 spots remain. This one was a wild one. It came down to 2 spots, and Allgaier ended up winning it to win his way into the championship 4. Cole Custer pointed his way in, as did John Hunter Nemechek. And now those 4 with Sam Mayer, they fight for a championship next week.
broadcast.